And we're back with another episode of Voice of Thermopolis podcast. My name is Aaron, and I am here today with
Hayden Main, the founder and the head commentator of Basins Sports Network, nicknamed Voice of the Bobcats.
Voice of the Bobcats. I love that. We got Voice of Thermopolis, and now we got Voice of the Bobcats.
I've been thinking about that all week.
All week. You're like, this is going to rock. Right on, man. And so... what we do here on the podcast, I like to sit down with interesting people and get to know them. They contribute a lot to the town. And so we usually like to talk about how they contribute to the town, how they came to the town, that kind of stuff. This is Thermopolis. We are here to represent. And, so what brought you to Thermopolis? How'd you get here?
Well, I was born in 2004 in Cheyenne, so I'm a capital kid. I don't remember anything from Cheyenne, but when I was 6 months old, we moved up here with my mom and my grandparents to Thermopolis, and that was like 2005, something around that, and I haven't been anywhere ever since, like permanently. So, I've lived in Thermopolis all but 6 months of my life, and it's a place I want to call my home for the rest of my life.
All right.
If the cards fall in, right? So, this town's given me everything, and I want to
give it back.
Yeah, giving it back. I want to go. I want to do as much as I can for the town that I love and the town that loves me back. So.
Truly, the community and everything. Have you gotten a lot of when you kind of growing up here and stuff like that? What was your interaction and what was your feel of the community here in Thermopolis?
Just kind of your regular small town, I guess. I mean, everyone is, everybody knows each other. There's only like 2,700 people, so you're bound to run into the same faces every single time you leave your house, right? So, but I've always felt like people that I meet, it feels like a tight knit community.
Yeah.
And
it does.
You see the same faces, you see the same names all over town, and I think that's what I like about it. It's also pretty quiet here. I mean, not much really happens in terms of anything action packed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not like Cheyenne or Sheridan where you have some moron running up and bashing someone's windows in every 5 minutes.
Right.
But I love it here for that. I love the quiet. I just like my personal space anyway. So I've always said that I could never, if I did leave Thermopolis, I would have to go somewhere that is equivalent in population.
He's going to Worland, guys.
No, God, no. I'm just joking. I do love Worland, but I just don't think I'd live in Worland.
Well, is it because of the sugar beet factory and the constant smell over there? I mean, we're not any better with the hot springs, but we get used to it.
It's funny that you say that. I do love the smell of sugar beets.
Oh.
And I love the smell of oil.
That refinery there, though?
Yes, I do. I do love that smell. I don't think I could live next to it because it's like the railroad. I feel like it'd just be too loud.
Oh, yeah, with the railroad coming in and out, too, all day.
Yeah.
I get it. Sometimes with where I work on my day job, we have the tracks pretty close, and sometimes they just come right through at the right time. And you're like, come on. I'll open the carryout window and I'll go ask them what their name is, and right as I go to ask their name, wah, and comes the train, and I'm like, just give me a sec. It's gonna do its thing again.
Yeah, calling home football games here in Thermop. The train, because the stadium's right next to the train tracks.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah. So, when the train comes by, I feel like that actually creates a really nice atmosphere, like a picture perfect atmosphere, because you have the players on the field, the train's coming by, I think that's Black Mountain that's up there.
It's got to be, right?
Yeah, I think so. And that's all right there.
It's
so
beautiful.
That is got to be the most perfect. I have to get
It'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be so cool.
It'd be cool to get a really good picture. If someone's out there that, is good with the camera.
Lisa Bommingen.
Lisa. I'm going to shout her out too. You got it.
Lyle Wiley, I know you always parade around the stadium with a camera.
Parade around. It's just
well, I mean, he does. He's the yearbook teacher there at the high school. So, if anybody's going to get a picture like that, it's probably going to be him.
There's different communities and stuff on Facebook, and on one of them, people are just constantly putting these gorgeous pictures of just things around the county, things around the state. It's been so nice.
I'm in this one Facebook group called Wyoming Through the Lens.
Ooh.
I know that Shelly Daramidi posts some photos there every now and again, and there's also somebody else. Yeah, shout out.
You're doing good work.
And there's also somebody else there too that goes through the buffalo pasture, and gets photos there of like the bison and stuff.
Yeah. I
don't know. I forgot who it is.
It's all right. But
like if it comes up on my Facebook feed, I will probably know exactly who it is.
Yeah, and you're like that picture. I like that picture.
But no, yeah, like there's so many things I love, and even myself, I love getting pictures of random stuff across the county.
Yeah.
I like to go out. I like to take my crappy little Buick out there on the dirt roads, and you'll probably see a silver Buick if you live out on like, East River Road or somewhere. If you live out in Owl Creek, you'll probably see a little Buick. That's me.
Out there taking pictures.
I did take a picture. I took a really nice picture of this abandoned, I think it's a stable, but it's out there. I don't know if you know where M-Bar is.
No,
it's like a little unincorporated community out there near the Anchor Dam.
Yeah.
So it's right there on the it's right there on the reservation on the south bed of the Owl Creek.
Wow.
So I like to go out there on that dirt road, and I took a picture of this abandoned stable that's out there, and there was like a little snowstorm behind it too, so it looked even better.
All right.
So when I'm not doing broadcasting, I do like to go out, and I do like to travel on whatever dirt road is legal.
Just in our backyard, right?
Yeah. It's probably not very good for my car, but I don't. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
So you like to get out and around the town.
Yeah.
But you found a passion, or at least a very good interest of yours, shooting footage for the different local games. Yeah. Is that only here in Thermopolis, or like how do you travel with the teams of Thermopolis? Is that how you go out and about?
I don't travel on the bus. I do.
True.
I do follow the teams, but in the fall and the winter, I stay in Thermopolis and I follow those teams.
Fair, yeah.
For the first time in a while, I started following the middle schoolers again.
Mm-hmm.
So
let's take it back a sec.
Yes,
sorry. No, it's okay. We're gonna get into that. But you started somewhere.
Yes.
So how
absolutely.
did this call come about? Because you at some point you turned the camera on and you started talking about people.
Yes. It had to start somewhere. It was 8th grade, the winter of 2018. It was my 8th grade year. I was going to the gymnasium at the middle school to watch my classmates play basketball, and it was the year that this middle school team won the conference championship, their A team, or I think it was their 8th grade A team.
All right.
And I was calling the 8th grade A games at the time. I had like a little I wouldn't really even call it a newspaper these days, but I ran like a little blog on Facebook.
Oh, that's cool. On like just your
school.
Personal profile.
It's deleted now, but like it used to be a little blog I had for the middle school.
That's cool.
And it was I think it was Riverton Middle School that was coming to play. It was either Riverton and Lander or Worland. But we were playing, and I was like, you know what? What if I got on Facebook Live on this blog and I called the game? Because, it was really, really rough at first. I had a crappy little LG cell phone at the time, and I didn't have any fancy equipment. I just had my camera up, and just shouting into the little microphone there. And I actually almost got in trouble with my grandparents because this was back when the middle school had lights on. So I skipped lights on to go into the gymnasium and do that. And lights on got out at 5:30 at the time. They don't have it anymore. But it got out at 5:30, and obviously the game ran past 5:30. So I got in trouble with my grandpa.
Oh,
man. But when my grandma, I think my grandma found the live stream on Facebook eventually, and she must have showed it to my grandpa, because next thing I know, a couple hours after we get home, they're coming to my room and they're like, "You were doing this the whole time?" So after that, I no longer got in trouble for staying after 5:30. But no, I mean, it's kind of it's a very odd origin story, to be sure. But I did that for a couple of games, and then the middle school season started winding down.
And you were just doing this like pro bono. You were just doing this because you just thought it was interesting and fun, and wanted to add to that concept.
I was just a 13-year-old kid looking for something to do at a basketball game.
Yeah, so. Wild. So all right, and then we're moving forward here.
And after that, Kevin Gerber, shout out, by the way.
Hey, Kevin.
Kevin Gerber, who was the head coach of the Bobcats at the time. He was the boys basketball head coach. And, admittedly, this was when the Bobcats only won like 2 games that season. And this was a bad stretch for the Bobcats from like 2013 up until then. They were like terrible.
They're still getting the trained up for the draft picks, right?
But Kevin was their head coach. He was also the disciplinary. I think it was. I forgot what he does, but we had a thing at the middle school called the refocus room.
Oh yeah,
which is where it was basically like a temporary detention.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar with the refocus room. Unfortunately, not personally, but personally.
Yeah, I got sent there quite a bit.
Oh no!
But he was the refocus room guy at the time as well, and he had a lot of hats. I think he was also owning Dairyland. So he had a lot of hats during that time.
Yeah.
I can't imagine doing that. But
what a workaholic, right?
I know, right? But he approached me one day during the school day, and he was like, "Hey, I saw what you're doing with your blog on Facebook. Do you want to sit on the bench during the Bobcat games and broadcast our games from there?" And I was like, "Sign me up!"
Like front row seats,
yeah,
like VIP,
awesome. And so I do remember like a couple of the opponents we played. We played Rollins. We played. So my first game, should probably get to that first. It was February. I think it was sometime in the single digits of February 2018.
All right.
And so that means February is like the last big stretch before regionals. And first home game, I got invited into the locker room, so I got to listen in on the pregame stuff.
Oh, that's cool. So you kind of knew like what was coming, like what their angles were, and like what kind of stuff goes on in the pregame. Are you allowed to talk about it? Is that
I could probably, because he's no longer the head coach there anymore. So basically, well, it's also pretty standard no matter what level. You just go through. You have like a little whiteboard in the locker room. You talk about, let me just use. Billy Bob, you're going to be put in X position. I want you to guard X person.
And you're looking at this person. So is it like a particular person they're like looking to defend?
Yes, the head coach, and I'm saying this, and we'll probably get to this later because I have head coach aspirations myself.
Ooh.
But what they will do, and I've done this personally as well, they will do some game film because that is actually up there. There's a place called Huddle.
Okay.
That they get game film from, and they will look at that team that they're playing, and the coaches will spend all week analyzing that, and they will figure out who their stud is, and they will figure out, okay, this person seems like he's about the same height / skill level as this person, so I'm gonna have Billy Bob match up with this guy, and John will match up with this guy.
Right.
So you spend all week preparing for that. So Kevin had that up. He had little keys to the game. I can't remember what they were now.
Sure.
Because that was 7 years ago now.
But like typically in the locker room, they'll have
they'll have keys to the game. They'll have the matchups.
What does a key to the game mean?
Oh, sorry.
Did they unlock the game?
No. Well, I mean, it could if you use it right.
What do we do?
But they had like little bullet points. Like, okay, if we want to win, you're gonna have to do this. You're gonna have to do it right.
Gotcha.
So.
If you don't hit those threes, dude, we're sunk.
No, if you don't guard this guy, we're screwed.
Oh, yeah.
That's basically what we... But, yeah, he'll have that. He has everyone's matchups. Everyone's in their position. They're numbered off 1 through 5 for each position they play. So you have your center, your power forward, your shoot, whatever, stuff like that. Okay, there's 5 positions on the court.
Interesting.
People are assigned to that based on different factors. And
yep.
Yeah, so...
skill levels, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, so... And I do remember a couple of really good players that we had on that team back then. I remember Hudson Rolling back in the day. He was pretty good. Tall, I'll tell you that. for a 13-year-old me, I was like
at 13.
Everybody was tall to me. So, but Noah Schwalbe was also a good player too. I had a lot of fun.
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out.
There's a lot of players. You probably can just list off player after player.
I could. Like Cade McLean, Dustin Harvey Jr., shoot, who else? There was more.
It's okay. We don't need to shout out the entire roster of the Bobcats all the way for the last that was 5 years.
Yeah, but they were good players, but unfortunately they just didn't have a lot of success. And some of them are still in town actually. And they played for the rec basketball team this past
right on.
past spring. So, they're still in town. They're still working. Some of them at Jadeco, some of them somewhere else, but that was the first, I had a lot of fond memories of that basketball season, even though we lost to Rollins by like 40 points.
It was the fun that counts, right?
Yeah,
it's the fun.
It
right?
was the experience.
Experience, yeah. Now we know how losing feels.
Yeah.
Badly.
Yeah.
So you got to sit down on the bench to do your first shot.
Yes.
All right. And so it went well. It went good on that, and then
went well for
you just
me,
kept
yeah.
getting invited back to. It went good for you.
Yeah.
Not so much the team.
Yeah, but no, I got invited back every home game from then on out for the rest of the season.
And then from there. That's when you're like, I'm making a sports network.
Yeah, I made
ESPN,
an official
here
thing.
I come.
I named it I made the page on the fly the night of that first game.
Oh wow.
And it was originally called Thermopolis Sports.
Thermopolis. Pretty easy.
And it was called Thermopolis Sports from then until at the end of the 2022 basketball season.
Oh, okay.
So, and I'll get into that in a little bit, but back when it was Thermopolis Sports, I tried my hand at I did a lot of stuff. Volleyball, football,
man.
basketball. And in spring I didn't do anything because I don't know. This was before I decided.
Maybe you lived a life.
Yeah, I've lived as a normal teenager.
Yeah,
but football in particular I only did the home games for volleyball, but I did travel with the team on the bus in 2019 for football.
Wow, cool.
The old head coach Matthew McPhee invited me on the bus, and I went to, I have a lot of very fond memories from that season. I went to, I'm trying to remember, I went to Glen Rock, and we won that game. It was cold. It was their senior night, and it was cold. And I also went to another place that I'm blanking on it. But I did go on the road.
You traveled a lot.
Yeah. And
whether it was a home game or this sport or that sport.
Yeah.
And then the ones that you could go on the road with.
Yeah.
Was it in high school that you started traveling yourself to the team, to the games?
It was after I graduated high school.
After you graduated, yeah.
But when I was in school, I was a lot more limited. I did go to a couple of select road games, but it wasn't until my senior year that I actually went on the road more.
Right.
I was a manager for the basketball team my freshman year, so I didn't get as much of an opportunity.
So you were
do
trying to
that.
manage and do it at the same time?
Yeah, I was the water boy for the Bobcats.
The water boy.
But I did.
Everyone has an origin story.
Yeah, but I did go to different places that year. My favorites to this day are Buffalo and Douglas. I love going to those places for basketball. Buffalo's got a really good marching band, or not marching band, but a pep band. Douglas has actually got a mascot, and I remember last time I was in Douglas in 2022, the Douglas mascot actually came up and he harassed me a little bit.
Oh man, while you're doing the stream.
Yeah. I love that. I love Douglas. I want to go back to the rec center that they got there and at least watch a game. We're no longer in 3A for basketball, so unfortunately we won't be playing Douglas for a long time. But
so 3A, that's based on size of the school?
Yes, it is based off of school enrollment.
Oh, okay.
I don't know the exact parameters.
Gotcha.
But in Wyoming, it goes from 1A, which is the really, really small schools like Batiste and Ten Sleep and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And then you got your 2A, which is, still very small, but they're a little bit bigger. So that's your Wyoming Indian and your Shoshone and your Thermopolis. That's where we're at.
Shout out
for all of our sports. Yep. 3A is your mid-level, your bigger, we're starting to get into towns that have more than 5,000 people now, which are, your bigger schools in 3A like Worland, Lander, Riverton, Cody, stuff like that.
You just said Worland has a bigger team than we do because of population?
They have a bigger school too. Worland's got 4,000 people, I think. It's going down, but their school, I don't know what their attendance is. And then you got your 4A. You got your big schools, more than at least
that's
more
probably
than
where I
1,000.
came from. The 4As,
Yeah, more than 1,000. So those schools, you got your Sheridan schools, Gillette, Jackson, Cheyenne, Laramie.
Okay.
The Casper schools, the big schools. And
so how do you choose what games or what sports you're actually following for the network?
Well, is Thermopolis in it for
That's
one?
a good start.
And do the games my primary? Sorry, I just spit on you. Oh my god.
No, you didn't.
But no.
The microphone maybe, but not me.
The primary sports for me are football, basketball, and soccer. We don't have soccer in Thermopylae. I'll get to that in a little bit.
Cool.
But this fall, I'm going to be trying to do volleyball as well this year.
Right on.
But my main sport's going to be football. So if a volleyball game, clashes with a football game, it's just not going to. I'm just going to skip
you have a
it.
priority list a little bit.
I do.
Is this based off like personal interest, or maybe just how well the teams are, or how do you decide? Like, if all of them had a game tonight at 6 p.m.
It's based off of like the. Honestly, it's kind of based off the familiarity.
Oh yeah,
I
sure.
guess. I did have a phase in high school where I was really interested in volleyball, but I'm not as familiar with volleyball as I am. It's also way too fast paced to call.
Right.
But also there's also a massive hole in volleyball coverage in Thermopolis, which I find a little bit messed up. But at the same time, just like I understand, like the radio station's got football to deal with, and I feel like I can probably try to at least fill some of that hole this season. And
That'd be cool.
Nobody's covering volleyball for Thermopolis, and I'm figuring why not? I'm going to give it a try again this year.
Right on.
I do know enough about the sport to call games, and so it's not even going to be just the varsity team either. I'll be covering the freshmen and the JV teams this year. Middle school is not going to be covered because they play their games like the court is divided in middle school. Like they have a court on one end and then they have a court on the other.
Right. Yeah.
And it's just not possible to cover
2 games at one time. Yeah. No, you can't do that. I mean, it sounds like
it's unfortunate because I do love calling middle school games. So yeah, but
is there a possibility you could just kind of like, I'm going to choose this court or this team?
I could, but then there's also the conflict aspect of it too, because the middle school normally I think plays on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I think so, and then that's where the volleyball, like the varsity games, will be too. And I know
the varsity games are the big ones. So
volleyball is a challenging thing for me. I don't know. I try my best. But
yeah, we look forward to seeing that.
Football is a lot easier though, because
you're just more familiar with it.
No, the scheduling works out perfectly.
Friday nights.
Friday night varsity, and then you got like your middle schoolers playing on like Thursdays and Saturdays, which, hey, no conflicts there.
And make a game if you can, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. No, this fall, come out, support your Lady Bobcats and your Bobcats.
Definitely.
There will be, I think the season will be starting like last week of August, I think, because they're going to have their first practices like 2 weeks before the end of August. And then I know that on August 20 or like 30, it's the Friday on the last week of August.
Okay.
Volleyball will be having their first game. I forgot against who. Football will be traveling to Buffalo to take on Newcastle for their season opening
scrimmage. We're coming for you, Buffalo.
Yeah. But no, we're playing Newcastle.
We're coming for you, Newcastle.
Yeah. We beat them last year because we beat them last year because Del Dukes caught I think it was a one-hander, but he had to toe tap his way to keep himself in the end zone, and we were down by 1 touchdown, and that play won us the game.
How legendary that is, man! And not many people get to see that. Well, they do on your network.
Oh yeah, the game's still up there.
Yes, catch that.
But and it's not even the best moment of last season.
That's honestly. Not even the best moment. But it's a moment they're all missing out on if they're not watching the broadcast. Yes,
absolutely.
Or going to support their kids. So
we're gonna. I have a feeling the Bobcats are gonna have a good season this year for football. So you will definitely not want to miss that. There will be one varsity game that we miss though for football, because that will be when the we play Pinedale at the end of the season next year. And that I will have to travel up to Grable for middle school girls basketball. So I will be missing that, but we do have our broadcast schedule for volleyball and football out on our Facebook page right now.
That's awesome.
You could check that out. I'll draft one up for the winner as well.
Check it out on the Facebook. What's the Facebook page? What's it named?
It is Two Basins Sports Network.
All right.
TWO. The number is spelled out.
All right.
And we're also looking for don't know if I should probably say this on the podcast, actually.
Okay, well, we can take it off air.
I mean, I was just
I can
gonna
mute it if you want to tell me, and then like.
Yeah, we can. I mean, you can edit it out if you want. I was just gonna say like. But yeah, sorry. We got we do have sponsorships available for the 2025 fall, and we got for the fall season. Yeah.
All right. So yes, please. So how, if I'm a sponsor, how do I go about getting a hold of you, getting part of that?
Well, there are 3 ways.
Okay.
You can either email me at this is all lowercase TWO Basins Sports Network @gmail.com.
Easy.
The other way is to call me or text me, area code 307-388-9203.
All right.
Or the easiest way possible, just get a hold of me on Facebook. You can just message to Basins Sports Network on Facebook, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can.
You could even just show up at a sports game and maybe after the fact get a hold of you, right?
Yes, I had. We had Canyon Concrete on as a sponsor last year, and they actually approached me like in between the B and C games of the middle school girls season when we were up in Cali for the Rocky Mountain game. And that's a good way to, also if you see me, come say hi,
Please, yeah. Support you, support the kids.
Or tell me how much you hate my guts. No matter what. I don't know. No, I'm just joking.
Just let me have it right there.
Yeah. But no, there's a lot of ways, and we do. Cool. We can.
Is there like a bracket system of sponsorship levels? Like what does $5 get me? How does this work out?
I forgot the prices, but we do have a Google Doc.
So you have like a bracket system of.
We do have a tier system. Either way, no matter what you choose, you're going to be getting a logo on the top left corner of the screen.
Right on.
So either way, you're going to get something.
Yeah.
But the lowest tier just gets you the logo. Our middle tier gets you the logo plus a video ad. And we have a deluxe package. I think I do know the price for that. I think it's like $65 per game day, not per game day.
Okay.
Because during basketball season, there'll probably be multiple games in one day. So it's not really fair to charge $65 per, JV, freshman, varsity, whatever. So,
well, not yet, but once you blow up after the podcast.
I don't want to bankrupt a small business. I don't know.
Right.
Maybe I just don't know enough. Maybe they have a lot more money than I think. But
no, you know what, though? Mom and pops are struggling too, and so anything goes a long way.
And
to help,
I figured out my prices are actually probably I think they're like a lot cheaper than what the radio station gets, because I think I saw, not even the radio station, but like when I was up in Worland for soccer, I think they were charging like a couple $100 per game.
Okay.
So I'm like, that's just, I don't feel right about doing that at the moment. I don't feel.
But you got to make gas money.
Well, at least gas money. Yes,
but you got to be able to have a burger while you're there in some gone off Wyoming town.
Yeah. Or if I have to travel to Montana or South Dakota for something.
If you're going all the way to nationals or something.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about covering something like speech and debate?
That would be very difficult to do.
It would be.
That would be very difficult because they're in different places at one time.
We got people going nationals for that.
I know we do. That's incredible.
Yeah. Shout out to those.
Yeah. Shout out to speech and debate. Shout out to the drama team.
The drama team.
Everyone, I feel like they don't get enough attention because they are very, they know what they're doing. Our drama team and when I was in high school, they came back with something from state every single year. So
right, yeah, they have just as many banners as like the football team.
Same thing with the golf team; they're really good too. I can't tell you. I don't know why we're so good at golf of all sports. That's not to say that they built a bad program. No, Brandon Daramides.
Well, that's probably what it is. They just have a really good program.
Brandon Daramides is a good coach for the golf team. He's a good athletic director. He knows exactly what he's doing.
And now they have the golf simulator. Down at the P6 station.
I did not know that.
It's
I know they got
fairly new.
Don't they got indoor golf?
Yeah, it's like an indoor.
I know that. But
they had the putt golf, but they also have like the. I don't know exactly what it is for. It's like a virtual driving range, I believe.
I did not know that.
And then we have the golf course, of course.
Well, yeah, I love. I suck at golf, but I do like going up there and playing a little bit.
Sure.
But yeah, no. Okay, so where was I? Football. We got a lot going on for football. I'm going to be. Normally I'd be coaching football with the rec district, but I'm taking a year off. Just I left a little bit prematurely last year, but I'm not going to go into that. But this year I'll be just completely off from coaching, so I'll be focusing all my energy on broadcasting this year, and that will be we'll be broadcasting varsity as always. We're going to do all the JV football games home and away, and we're also going to do all the middle school games home and away. Depending on the away games, might be a little tricky. Mm-hmm. They're going to Lander for football this year, and I'm a little worried about that because Lander Middle School, I don't know if their football team will play on the big stadium or if they're going to play on some random grass lot near the middle school.
Oh man.
Because I tried to call soccer for Lander Middle School this year, and when Werlen was going to Lander, and they didn't play at the big stadium, they played on a random grass lot at the school. So
gotcha.
Facilities, it's a frustrating thing, sure, but that's just kind of the reality that we're in. So we'll call the opposing athletic directors to see where they'll be playing at, but we'll try to get all the middle school games if we can. We're excited. We think that TMS football is going to do good this year. So I think Thermop football, I think they got a big, bright future ahead of them. Like last season, they had a winning record, barely missed the playoffs, but I think they'll do good this year. So we'll see. It's exciting to be a Bobcat fan.
Do you like to see a lot of these like young guys starting off maybe in like the middle school like football teams and stuff like that, and then like see them grow in through their high school career?
I think that's the best part.
That's gotta be cool.
That's the best part because then when they go to the NBA or the NFL, you're like, hey, I knew that guy before he was famous.
I knew Tom Brady. He used to not even throw a football.
That's the biggest. There's a lot of the 8th graders from last season that I watched, and I'm gonna be like, they're gonna be freshmen this year, and I cannot wait to see how they do.
Yeah, they're hungry, right?
Yeah,
freshman year,
awesome.
Like that's when the sports get real, right? So,
right.
Like in middle school, people are dabbling, see if they like it, right?
Yeah.
And then you get into high school, and it's like, all right,
yeah,
you either take it seriously or you're just don't.
The coaches expect commitment out of the high school players.
Right.
So.
They do the camp. You guys, you don't cover the camp at all during the summer?
No, but they will be going to. I think they'll be going to Black Hills sometime next month. So
that's cool.
I don't even know I don't even know much about the camps. I don't know if spectators are allowed or not, but.
I guess that's kind of true.
Yeah, I think so. They might, I think, because they have the camp at the Black Hills main stadium. So
right,
but
maybe it's worth just making sure they have some sort of waiver signed and talk to the coaches and be like, hey, that'd be cool if that's something you're interested in. Cool idea.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get some photos and videos from the camp, but.
Right. Seeing some of those stars breaking out and how they're doing in the camp.
Spearfish is a bit of a long drive, though.
How long is that drive?
I have no idea. 4 or 5 hours.
Oh.
I was up in Newcastle.
An overnight trip.
I've driven back from Newcastle the same day. That was a 4-hour drive.
So it's 8 hours of driving and.
Yeah, it was. I was in Newcastle for soccer, and I was so close to the South Dakota border. I was asking a couple of the people up in the press box, how far are we from South Dakota? And they just laughed at me. They were like, you're 10 minutes away.
You're in South Dakota.
Yeah. But no, I'd love to go up to South Dakota.
You throw a rock about 50 feet north of here and you're going to hit South Dakota.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
That's great.
It's so pretty up there, though. But yeah.
Yeah, the whole state, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Wyoming is people just see it as a bunch of dead grass, and it's not. It's just you gotta look for it. You gotta put in the effort to actually look for, and it's the same message you relay on your podcast all the time. There's always something to do. You just gotta look for it.
Right. I did turn down our gain on the microphones a little bit, so that way some of this background
I was just wondering
doesn't come in. So that's why I'm talking extra close and stuff like that.
Oh,
to
okay.
Be able to,
well, then that's
make sure
my
it comes
bad.
through. No, you're good. I think you're in there. I'm just wanting to make sure you're aware because when I make adjustments on the fly, which I don't often, I probably should communicate that to the guest.
Yeah.
So I was interested. So your coverage of the games, and you're every game that you can be at.
Yeah.
Do you see a good turnout for people of Thermopolis supporting our cats, or
I do.
Has it changed? Does it go in waves? What's your take on that?
Up and down.
Up and down.
when we have big games like homecoming, it's very hard to find a parking spot because you'll have people get up there like an hour or two before the game even starts. So homecoming, it's always a sellout crowd. When Worland came to town last year, it was a sellout crowd. Well, I say sellout, we don't sell tickets to the games, but no, we had a whole bunch of purple and gold on the home side, a bunch of orange and black on the away side last year. But when it's like another random game, I don't know why, but the turnout's still okay, but it's not. It's okay, but half the bleachers are empty, and I do think that we do need people to come out and support the Bobcats.
Yes, we do,
because this is our team. Like, I mean, this is the only school in the county. Like, this is the only football program in the county. I mean, come out, support your Bobcats, wear some purple and gold. Have a good time. I mean, there's some good concessions there too. So,
so the crowd turnout could be better.
It could be better, but it's not bad. It's not bad.
People that are looking for something to do in the middle of the week, at the end of the week, maybe catching a local game would be something that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah.
Grab a couple friends, go to the game, get some concessions, and check it out. And be able to be there and actually see these guys and support them, because that stuff means a lot to be able to help them out and keep doing the programs that we have and that kind of stuff. Do the coaches get paid at all? I don't even know.
I would assume so.
Hopefully, right? But maybe it's like a time donation.
So I mean, I assume they get paid, but because that's directly through the school.
Right.
So
hopefully,
don't quote me on that.
No, I all conjecture.
I would assume that they
hope.
paid.
We all hope that. Yeah. They don't get paid enough, darn it.
Yeah.
You get double pay if you make a win, and then you get the $1 minimum for the losses. Wouldn't that be weird?
That'd be
hard.
That'd be pretty
man, as
messed
a coach,
up, actually.
Someone has to lose.
Yeah.
So all the coaches have this thing where it's like, we get paid based off of the wins and the losses. Like,
Shoot.
Can you imagine that?
That
how
would
cutthroat it would be. You have coaches throwing stuff at people.
That would probably actually create some kind of scandal in the state. I don't know.
Oh, right? It would. Like, you would have coaches I don't know, probably trying to just do nefarious things, sabotage the team somehow.
That would probably, and that we're looking at something like
pull a Patriots and deflate the ball.
Oh God,
allegedly.
Oh, or pull a Houston Astros and steal the team's the team's signals.
Oh yeah.
Bang on a trash can if they're gonna do a run play.
But you're gonna keep them in check, right? You're watching. You're recording these games.
You're being broadcasted in 480p. I got you.
480. Let's go.
I actually don't know. YouTube says it's 1080p.
Yeah, no, it seems like it's 1080. Yeah, you got some good coverage, man. Yeah. I've been checking that out.
I could use a better camera though. That's just.
Sure. Hopefully, the sponsors come through, and maybe we get you a better camera. And we can, hey, boosters, anyone that's looking to help us out.
Yeah.
I say us. I mean, this guy, he's the one that's needing to be able to set this up every time. So you don't have an old GoPro or nothing. No, you just have a
just got a
little webcam,
little Nexigo webcam. It's just one of these little. Amazon said it's 1080p. I mean, I guess so, but.
So you do a lot of local school, the school sports and stuff. Do you do anything outside of the school itself?
Yes. During the winter and during the summer, I do actually. I've been helping out the rec district with their adult leagues, and I have kind of.
Shout out Brian.
Yes.
Shout out Brian.
Yes, I meant to say that.
The rec district.
Brian Parker with the rec district has been amazing.
Love you, man.
He's so much fun to be around, and
he's awesome.
He's a tall guy, so he scares me a little bit.
He's so tall.
I know.
Tall.
I think everybody's scary, but then they turn out to be teddy bears. So maybe that's just my social anxiety. But
as we all have, as it goes.
But no, he's been so accommodating for this, and basketball was a lot of fun. I mean, I kind of was a little confused at first how it ran, but once I learned how things went, it's it just became just no different than the school broadcast.
Do you find that you are able to contribute to that kind of stuff, the knowledge you have from running the sport with the sports, the school sports? Sorry, so the knowledge you have from doing a lot of work with the school sports, does that carry over to the rec district stuff?
Somewhat. I mean, it's a kind of a different thing. I have to. I don't have access to I mean, they take rosters and stuff, but they don't have like a standard uniform for the teams.
Oh, right.
So there are a couple teams that had a standard uniform, like Arapahoe Ranch had a team, and Red Rock Family Medicine had a team. They had numbers on the back of their uniforms,
Which was more helpful.
But at teams like Dairyland and stuff, they didn't have standard uniforms, so I couldn't even pinpoint a number to them, it's admittedly a little frustrating when I can't point a name to a player, because I just kind of have this internal opinion that if I can't get a player's name out on the broadcast, that it just disrespects them. That's just how I feel like it
Give
is.
credit where credit's due, right?
Because I feel a little bit upset when I have to like just call a player out by their number during a school broadcast, because I'm like, this dude is coming to practice every single day. He did not come to practice every single day just to be called out by his number.
Just be number 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's fair, but sometimes it's moving so quick.
Yeah,
and that's
true.
what the numbers are for, right?
Yes.
So,
I mean, I'm not saying that, sometimes when there's like a big play and I need to keep track of things, like I'll just say a quick number and then I'll get to the name later. But at least I have access to that name.
Yeah, number 3 just did that. John Doe, just smashed a good one. Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun though. I do like. Oh, I just hit the microphone. But it is a lot of fun doing these. It's definitely. I do come home exhausted. My neck does hurt a little bit from constantly moving.
You're just doing all these.
But I just made myself a little dizzy there. But no, it's a lot of fun, definitely.
Do we need to get you some water or something like that? I mean, you good?
I'm great.
And we're over here at the Copper Coup, by the way.
Oh, yes.
Shout out to
Audra.
Audra.
Here at the Copper Coup. I'm running off of 2 cups of coffee. So
oh, man, you're jived up.
I got a little bit of coffee jitters. I will say that, but it's irresistible. I can't say. She also put she put a coup on the little latte art.
Oh, the art.
Yes.
I didn't know she does that. I'm learning new things. I've been here for a while now.
I think it's because it was an open container.
The open mug, yeah.
Like the
right.
for here cups. Because I normally
she has all kinds of interesting cups too, right?
Yeah, it's awesome. When I come to coffee shops, I just get it to go and just go on with my day, because I don't like being out in public for too long. Today's the exception.
Today's the exception. I got him out of the cave.
You got me out of my little hobbit cave.
I'm sipping on it's the Lotus drinks, and then I got it's Pina Colada, and it's divine. And I had her do 2 extra shots. Something's loaded in caffeine right now, but man, it's so good.
I forgot the name of it already, but I want it, and it has ginger in it, and it someone said that it was spicy, and I'm like, deal. I like spicy.
Interesting. Some of the mocktails that she has have some ginger and stuff in there, and just so good. So we'll do a whole customer experience thing on that and on the podcast. So
I've been hearing good things. I've been hearing things about that. So
hey,
stay tuned. Stay tuned. There's a lot of stuff coming up.
Taylor and I actually went last Wednesday to the Dinosaur Center. They gave us a private tour. It was really cool. So we met up and we went through the whole experience as a customer, as you would be able to do, just about anyone would be able to do, right? And so she took us through and showed us all the things. And we asked questions, and we had a lot of fun, and really got that experience. And I don't know if I want to put it on blast necessarily, but I'm already here. So they actually invited us out to do a dig event one of these times.
Wow.
And be able to do that experience too. So it's going to be cool.
Be fun.
It's the oldest history in Thermopolis, if you think about it.
Yeah.
It doesn't get any older than prehistoric.
I haven't been to the Dinosaur Center in like 10 years. That's crazy to say.
Well, then what do you do?
I need to go. I've been going to so many museums lately. I went up to the Washakie Museum on Thursday. So
cool.
Museums are just my thing. I need to go up to the history, or like the museum that's on Broadway.
Yeah, our history museum.
Yeah, I'd love to. I haven't been there in a long while. I want to be back inside that little schoolhouse that they got.
Yeah, and they just opened the outside annex to that. For the museum, so if you are, it's a good time.
I probably won't do it today, but I'll definitely do it sometime this week.
Yeah, I plan on taking the kids, and we're gonna have a lot of fun. Just they have like a scavenger hunt, I heard, so they have a lot of cool things to make it really fun and really interesting. Learn some really cool stuff about our history here in Thermopolis. So we're coming for you. Voice Thermopolis is gonna show up, and we're gonna have a good time with them. They work so hard down there, and they just don't get enough appreciation, I think. So like just shout out to all you guys working, the museums and everything. Like you guys are doing great work, and it goes under noticed, I think, a lot of times in the town. Like in the town we're so busy with our jobs and our day-to-day things and stuff that we don't like think about doing something kind of offbeat, like going to the dinosaur museum. It's there. How do you not know it's there, right?
I mean, there's a big old T-Rex statue downtown. I mean,
it's only $2 if you're local. It's only like $2 to get in. And you got to just spend yourself a nice little time. You can either breeze through it at like 30 minutes, or you can, you take your time and spend a day there. And they have they have some like kind of like concessions, but they have like food, like ice cream. They were telling me they had ice cream coming once the season more opens up, because they just got into their season. So that'll be really cool.
I mean, I'm not even a dinosaur guy, but like I still would love to go there.
Man, you'll have to watch the episode or just go yourself. They have some really cool, like, they were like,
why not both?
I can't remember. They were like triceratops, but they almost look like melted triceratops.
Man.
Because like the type, the species they are, they're just like, oh man, they looked evil almost. I was like, these are cool.
Is there like a fish thing there? I forgot.
There was a giant turtle. That was really cool.
Okay, that's probably what I'm thinking of, or like a shark or something.
Yeah. Oh, they have the big
because
shark stuff.
That is one memory I do have from my, I think it was a 5th grade field trip there. Was this big fish tank? Like I don't know. I don't remember it like pixel by pixel, but I do. I do remember this dark room, a whole bunch of blue everywhere, and it's just like a bunch of fish. I don't know. I might be thinking.
No, you're right. I think that's in the more of the entry part.
Yeah, because you go past that big dinosaur exhibit thing, and you turn to the right.
You're gonna have to check it out.
I will definitely. Yes,
brother. You haven't been.
Maybe after
so
this.
long.
Maybe after this, I will definitely look into it.
Put a couple dollars and just take a little stroll.
If it's only $2 for a local, then I mean, why not, right?
Why not? Yeah.
I mean, even if you, definitely check out if you have the time in your day. Make sure you do come and check out like the museum, the dinosaur center. I mean, go around like the little statue that's in downtown. Like like with the horse.
Yeah, you get pictures and stuff with that. Yeah. It's really cool too.
I've gotten a couple of good photos there, but But or if not, just do what I do and drive around the county, see what you can find.
Like we were discussing earlier, right? Yeah. Like you can just kind of drive 15 feet away and find something kind of cool.
The abandoned stable out near M Bar. There's
Jibo.
Yes, I've been out there actually. It's really cool. I took the dog out there once.
Yeah.
But also near Jibo, not a lot of people know this, but Jibo's not the only ghost town in Hot Springs County. There's Crosby. Crosby. Yeah, it was directly below Jibo. Not a lot of people know about it.
Interesting.
Crosby used to be a town just like Jibo, but it kind of went belly up. There's literally nothing out there now except for like a couple of remnants of houses, like piles of bricks. I think it's oil field property now. Oh. But
so be careful if you see signage or something.
There is a sign out there that says oil access only or whatever. It's like a private road, so you can only go so far, but you can go far enough
to see all the cool stuff.
To see the piles of bricks, and there's also an abandoned ranch out there called the Hedenbach Acres.
Oh.
And you could see the ranch house. I don't know what it's called, but like it's like a tattered house. There's like an old truck out there too that's abandoned. And they have a handmade ranch sign on the fence that says Hedenbach Acres. Careful though, it's rusty. No, you can go far enough into that dirt road before the sign pops up to be able to see it, and it is really cool. I had no idea it existed until last summer. I was browsing on the Hot Springs County, like a Hot Springs County history website, and there was a article called Crosby, and I'm like, I wonder what this is. And then next thing I know, like are you sure? Like, I had no idea this existed.
Yeah.
I actually went out there, and lo and behold, there's piles of rubble, and there's the abandoned head and back acres. So,
The burning question: do you believe in ghosts?
yep, I do.
Yeah,
I do. I do believe in ghosts, and
Man, so you
I
gotta
didn't.
tiptoe.
I didn't really experience any, like.
You haven't had any firsthand experiences?
No,
Nothing cool?
not when I was out in Jibo, not when I was in Crosby. I do like to go out and visit Kirby a lot.
I've had a few when I was young, but I also had a crazy imagination.
Oh yeah,
So I don't know.
but
to me, they were pretty real.
I do believe that there are a couple of haunted spaces in Thermopolis. I don't know where, but can definitely hear some stuff when you're going near a couple of abandoned shacks out in the middle of the countryside.
Right. You can see that eerie feeling, right?
Yeah.
Man, the paranormal
man.
investigators can come out there and just clear it up for us so that we know. Like that'd be great because
You're not going to catch me
Jibo's
doing that,
freaky.
though. I don't.
You don't know. You don't have any friends?
I don't.
Come up and like, hey, we need to get an EKG. EKG.
I have no clue. But
Get some ghost hunters out there and hunt them down.
I have
Clear it out
friends.
for
I
us.
just don't like going out and trying to look for ghosts. I don't want to.
You're like, nah.
I don't want to. I don't want to anger the spirits.
It's cool to see some old history, but maybe not be angered by a spirit of some kind.
Yeah. Speaking of, oh no, actually, I don't know where I was going to segue with that, but
What do you got?
I was trying to reel back into the sports stuff.
Of course. Speaking of spirits, that school spirit.
Yeah, school spirit.
Showing that school spirit.
Yeah, school spirit. There is something I actually want to talk about.
Yeah,
So,
what do you got?
So one team that I do like to follow in the state of Wyoming because of their school spirit is Wyoming Indian. I've been a Chiefs fan for a while, and I got a couple of favorite players back in the old Wyoming Indian days, like the 2001 state championship team. Like people like Al Seabearing, stuff like that. I really am a big fan of.
Hey, shout out, man.
Yeah. But also my favorite player, my favorite Wyoming Indian player is Slade Spoonhunter. He played for the Chiefs from like 2008 to 2011, I want to say.
Okay.
But I think he won a state championship with them back in like 2011. I think they beat Lovell in the 2A championship. And he went on to play for Eastern Wyoming for a little bit. But he's still in Ethity, Fort Washakie, stuff like that. He does on-site little highlight videos for the Chiefs. So he'll follow the youth teams, the middle school teams, and the high school teams for Wyoming Indian because it's Wyoming Indian for their elementary, their middle, and their high school. So he'll follow the Chiefs around, and he does a lot of cool stuff there. He has his own AAU team, I think. But
oh wow,
he's one of my favorite players. Yeah,
wow,
he's definitely somebody that that I definitely look up to. He's still pretty active in the basketball scene. He actually hosts his own little youth basketball camps, and that's something that I want to do someday. I want to be a coach like that, and I want to be somebody that kids can definitely look up to pursue their sports ambitions. And as a coach myself, I mean, I like to coach basketball and football. I do have some head coach ambitions.
Awesome. Let's get you there.
Yeah, I've been working with Brian in the rec district for 2021 was 4 years ago. Good Lord.
4 years.
Yeah, that's how long I've been coaching football. But basketball, I had my first year of basketball in 2019. Took 2020 off because of the pandemic. And
sure. As we all kind of did, right?
Yeah. And I kind of intermittently coached basketball every couple of years or so, but I'm definitely going to be getting back into it this winter. So I don't just
look out for that.
So I don't just do broadcasting. I do a lot of sports related stuff here in Thermopolis. And I do want to,
So what's in the pipeline? You have ambitions. So
Yes.
I heard head coach of an NFL team.
So,
Pick 'em
no,
up.
not NFL. High school is about as high as I want to go. I don't think I'd
not
be
college?
able to.
UW?
Maybe low level
Get them
college.
Cowboys in there?
maybe low level college. I'm not so sure I'd be able to take on a Division I program, but who knows, right? I mean,
Well, yeah.
who knows?
You're still young, man.
But no, broadcasting is really nice, and I do plan to do it for a couple, at least like the next, I want to say 4 or 5 years at the very, very, very least.
Right. So we'll see you around still.
And
and that's going to be on the side of your head coaching
yes,
gig, right?
Yes. Well, yeah, it's going to be, and that's an important thing too. If I become a head coach, like, yeah, there will be a sport that I won't be able to cover, and I accept that. I have to make sacrifices, but
Maybe you could find someone
in the
to
off
take
season.
that
Yes, I
mantle
could.
for you, right?
Yes, I could hire somebody in a few years. I still want to, but right now, TBSN's not going anywhere in the near future.
Not at all.
I've been able to balance coaching with broadcasting for the last 4 years, so
Yeah. So find you on Facebook, find you on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's where you're going to be broadcasting these games. If you can't make it to an out-of-state game, or I'm out of state,
Out-of-state,
so out of town,
out-of-town.
out of county game, then pick it up on the YouTube
Yeah.
and have it playing and enjoy, supporting the Cats that way.
Yeah.
A lot of that goes back in and to helping out the teams again. So, every view, every click is a support.
The fans are what make the Bobcats. Purple people eaters, I like to call them.
Hey, let's go.
The Minnesota Vikings will probably have my neck for that, but no, the fans, like, we have. I know our student section is really good. Like, they cracked me up. They did have a couple of moments last season where they kind of irked me a little bit, but I feel like that our student section should be kind of like the gold standard at least in 2A. Because it seems like I go to a lot of games and the student section isn't like, they come to the game and they're like, they don't do much. Like, they just sit there, they watch the game, they cheer every now and again, but they're not on the level that our student section does. And I dare to say we have the best student section in 2A.
Let's go. Challenge.
But I think they were the reason, honestly, why we did as good as we did at home.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think that encouragement kind of led them to winning that championship in 2025. Basketball, the boys just came home with that basketball title.
That's awesome.
Girls finished third place. Shout out to the Lady Cats as well. I don't feel like they get enough appreciation.
Not at all. They need more.
I love what Shauna Farrell has done with the girls, and I love what Shane Corpening has done for the boys. He came in 2018. They had a couple of struggles the first few years, but it's like they finally started finding their form a couple of years ago.
Gotcha.
And I feel like getting moved down from 3A to 2A only gave us more of an opportunity to flourish. And the boys beat some pretty good teams. We upset Lovell in overtime.
Mm-hmm.
And Lovell was the number 1 ranked team in 3A. That's an entire step above us. Like, they got a lot more than we do. And that game I still look fondly back on. I remember just absolutely losing my mind. My voice was gone for like a couple hours after that. And
just screaming. Woo!
My heart was just, my heart couldn't take it. If it went into a second overtime, I think I probably would have had cardiac arrest.
Get this guy a stretcher.
Yeah, but there were a couple of heart pounding moments. The football team upsetting Mountain View toward the end of the last football season. They were number 1 in 2A football, and we somehow won that by a touchdown. Man. That was, I still can't believe that.
Amazing moments, right?
And I try not to think about this game too much, but the Lyman game, we won in overtime. Of course, some things happened during that game on air that still haunt my dreams, but
it's haunting your dreams.
Yeah,
I just can't.
I don't know. I know we were talking about ghosts earlier, but
oh man, now we're haunting your dreams.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
But no, I said some things on the Lyman broadcast that I'm not really that proud of. So I said some things in excitement when the Bobcats. I remember Mac Buckner. I think he shut down the Lyman running back to officially win the game for the Bobcats. And
wow.
I said some. Where Lyman's at, right?
No.
Okay,
I actually don't.
Oh, you don't? Okay. So Lyman is in they're like 13 miles from the Utah border.
Oh, okay.
So, and Utah, what their whole reputation is, right?
Okay.
But when Buckner shut down that running back, I said on air.
Yeah, you don't have to repeat it. I don't need you to get a haunted.
Yeah.
Some things you're not so proud of. Maybe the moment of excitement.
Yeah. And it wasn't fun. I had some Lyman fans that weren't very happy with me, but I'm still trying to move on from that, but it's a little difficult.
Well, you're doing better going forward, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I've listened to your broadcast.
I've not gotten in trouble since then. So, I'm glad about that. In fact, I feel like my reputation has actually kind of really bounced back since then.
Well, we all make mistakes, and you learn a lesson, and it's how you move on. I think is what's really important.
I think that's the lesson out there. You if you make a mistake, you don't. There's no point in trying to pretend like it never happened.
Correct.
Because it's always going to be in the back of your mind.
Yep.
And I think once I learned to accept that, like, okay, I said this, I regret it, and I will just move on.
Yeah.
And it's still difficult. It does still kind of make creeps its way into my mind every once and again, and it kind of ruins the rest of my day. But it does. It definitely has helped since I've learned that. Hey, I'm right here right now, aren't I? Talking about I'm clearly I've been able to keep it going.
Yeah.
So
you're doing good work,
and I've gotten.
Yeah, exactly.
I get a lot of messages of support from a lot of different people. When I was calling Worland middle school soccer, I got this one comment on my broadcast of that Riverton versus Worland middle school game.
Yeah.
And this person was saying things like, this is the most fair and unbiased broadcast I have ever heard in my life. Thank you from a Riverton parent. Thank you, and I will be listening into more of your broadcasts.
Wow, that's
and
big.
I also got that same amount of praise from parents of, from the parents of the kids that were playing for Buffalo, as well, because Buffalo came to Worland for a middle school game too. And I honestly, it does make me tear up a lot when I do see comments like that from opposing schools. It's like, wow, I am getting all this praise from people that I don't even know, from towns that I have zero familiarity with. It's crazy. And it's like, what did I do to deserve it? That's the first thing that goes through my mind. What did I do to deserve it?
Well, running a good show, right? Like
I try to be unbiased.
And
I mean, I get excited for the Bobcats. Obviously,
it's our team.
I screamed my head off when they were playing Lovell, but even
losing your voice almost. Yeah.
But I was next to there was this lady from Lovell who was doing film for them.
Cool.
And I apologized to her for losing my voice, and she was like, "Don't even worry about it." So I mean, it was just I don't know. I just kicked the table. I am so sorry. I keep doing that. But I love the support that I get. I mean, even in Worland, I've even started getting some following over in Worland for my soccer stuff. As much as I wish we had a soccer team in Thermopolis, it's nice going to Worland every once in a while.
I heard we might be getting one at the beginning of this season.
I haven't heard anything.
Yeah.
All I've been hearing is that, I've been hearing people like I've been saying that we could use a soccer team in Thermopolis, and I hear people say like, yeah, that's not going to happen. And I won't lose any sleep over it if we don't get a soccer team.
Thermopolis, if you want a soccer team, if you have kids that want a soccer team, start talking.
We do. I know Brian's got the whole youth soccer thing going on.
Exactly. My daughter's involved in that. She's doing a great job.
We have a couple of Bobcats that do go up to Worland to play soccer. So there is that. They have that option. And also another thing, Wyoming just recently started doing softball too, and I do think that we could actually get a good softball team in Thermop.
Oh, doesn't Worland crush us all the time?
Football, we lost by one touchdown?
Oh, I'm talking about the softball though.
Oh, softball?
The rec district softball.
Quite frankly, or you're talking about rec district.
Right.
We do have a couple of Worland people come down. It's few. I think it's we do have a couple of people from Worland, but I think it's still mostly homegrown.
Well, I mean, our
but-
teams here in Thermopolis tend to have a rough go at it when it comes to taking on the Worland teams for the softball. Am I just completely wrong?
I know Wyoming Gas was pretty good last season for softball, but yeah, you know what? Maybe but they have that foundation in Worland though now because Worland High School has softball. They admittedly haven't seen very good things from their softball record, but I do think that
we got some good teams though.
Yeah, I think we could field a softball team because we have a lot of people that come out from the high school and they do come out and play adult softball.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that Thermopolis could, if they couldn't support a soccer team, that's okay. I think we could definitely do softball. We got the facilities for it. I mean, we got a softball field.
With the rec district, what kind of things do you cover for them?
Okay, I think I went over this earlier. Maybe that was when we were off camera, but
a little bit. It was
adult basketball and adult softball
and the softball.
However, that being said, I have been considering on days that softball is not playing.
Okay.
And the American Legion team, because we have
baseball.
We don't have a senior team like Riverton does, but we do have an American Legion team that I forgot what the age cutoff is for that.
Okay.
But I've considered trying to cover games for the senior team because they go to places like Lovell and Cody and Powell, but it'd be awesome to have
a big turnout.
Yeah, I went to my first
practice and they had a huge game.
I went to my first American Legion game last summer, and there were a lot of people there. They got a lot of sponsors too, so I love that we have that. I do think that whoever runs the baseball club here in town should consider trying to get a senior team up.
Why not?
But
but we got softball. I think that's kind of taking the place right now of that senior.
Softball, because we do have a couple of the boys that come out and they do play softball for the rec district.
They're monsters too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I didn't think it was possible to hit a softball as far as some of these guys do, but
out of the park and then
not even out of the park. They hit it into the little horse stables.
Yeah.
Because you know where they play the softball games, right? They play it at the field that's facing directly toward the fairgrounds.
Yeah, they knock it on the roof of the building and stuff like that.
Some of them have power. Brian's a really good player too. he can launch it. He can.
Right on.
He hit a lot of home runs.
And you're going to be covering that this year because we're just getting started in the softball season, right?
Softball is starting, I think, June 3rd, I think is the first games.
Yeah, so
again, check that on the Hot Springs County Rec District website or Facebook page for official details. I'm just kind of going off memory, but
anything we were talking about, you're going to be able to find it on the respective pages and stuff too.
The first games I think will be starting somewhere about June 3rd or so. It'll definitely be on a Tuesday, first Tuesday of June.
Cool.
But I'm excited. I'm not excited for the heat.
Oh, yeah.
But I am definitely excited for softball to be starting back up. It is nice watching some of our local players come out and do their thing. I mean, this is
and they have a lot of fun doing that too.
They do a lot of banter, a lot of trash talk. Nothing egregious, obviously, but they do like to. They're adults.
We all know each other.
Yeah.
And so, when you're playing against the guy that makes your coffee,
yeah,
you're like, all right, man. You might make a mean cup of Joe, but I got you on that one.
Oh, man. I would love to play softball.
Yeah.
Maybe that.
And coach and broadcast.
Well, yeah.
And hunt
but that
ghosts.
might be something I look into next year, something like that. Playing adult softball, I've wanted to do so for 3 years now, but I just don't know how to sign up. That's the thing. But
what? You're part of the rec district. What are you doing?
I'm not a salaried employee though. That's the thing. I don't know the ins and outs. I'm not on the board.
True. I get it.
But no. But
my wife's on a team this year. They got sponsored by Wyoming Whiskey. Shout out to local Wyoming whiskey. But yeah, so she's got her, and there's a couple friends, and then they have a whole nother crew that I don't think I know all them yet.
Insert a joke about getting hammered here.
yeah, the whiskey.
No, that's awesome.
They're gonna be sober when they play. I promise you.
I don't know. I do remember some people bringing a case of Coors Light to the stadium a couple years ago. But
that's the trick, right? Is you just give a case of beer or something to the other team. Like, hey guys, have a good game.
Yeah.
So they can be
the
cracking
thing about
them
it is, though, I don't know. I feel like baseball would be easy to watch when hammered, but not so much playing.
That's what I'm saying. You got to get the other team all sloshed up, and then you got the edge.
Oh my god.
You've seen bench warmers, right? With the pitcher. And
I actually not. I don't watch very many movies, unfortunately.
It's okay. It's a funny movie. It's super funny.
I will definitely watch it.
There's this guy, and he's like, it's supposed to be like this little league thing.
Right.
And then like this guy, he's pitching for him, and he's like clearly like 30 years old, but he has like a birth certificate written in crayon that says I'm 13. And they're like, yeah, it checks out.
I think I've actually seen like not the full movie, obviously. I think I've seen clips of it though.
He's got like a flask in his glove, and he's like, and so he's like completely drunk on the mound.
I could definitely see a couple of the softball players doing that.
Oh goodness.
That's something that I don't know.
That'd be wild.
That sounds like some kind of like comedy skit, honestly.
It is. I mean, it's a comedy.
I mean,
movie,
I know it is,
right?
but like, I mean, like, it sounds
great.
like something that like Kevin Hart or something would like make a routine about.
That's probably true.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, softball's coming up. Football after that. I mean, it's going to be pretty boring from mid-July to late August. I'm going to have to find something to do until then.
Yeah, you might actually have to, I don't know, float the river or go to the Dinosaur Museum.
Yeah, I'm not much. I am very scared of going into the river.
Do you not know how to swim?
I don't.
Wow, interesting.
I mean, I know how to.
I think it's kind of common though. Like, there's not a lot of.
I mean, I can go to the teepee and I can just wade in the water, but like I can't like swim up the Bighorn.
You're representing 2 basins.
Yeah.
And then you don't know how to swim.
Yeah. I want to learn how to fish though. That is something I've been looking at.
Oh, like fly fishing or just regular?
Both.
I've been interested in fly fishing too. We just had a fly fishing shop open up that does like guides and things like that.
We got like 3 of them.
I know, a new one. Sorry, a new one.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that'd be kind of cool. Maybe I do like a guest experience thing with him.
I could probably. I don't know. I could probably get behind that.
You know, like we pull up some resources and see what they can do for us. That'd be kind of fun.
I do think. Yeah, I like that. I like that's starting to come into town. So.
Yeah. There's a lot to offer. It's just like not all the time is it in your face, you know. And so like, you know, check out the Chamber of Commerce event board. They do a really great job. Marianne, shout out again. To keep that updated, to keep the information flowing. It has a whole calendar, and they even have a cool guide on like how to be able to set up like plan for events and stuff. Mm-hmm. So that way, like, if you don't want it to clash necessarily with like bigger events that know, like if you're trying to do like a fundraising event that's like a spaghetti dinner, you don't want to put it on like a a 3-on-3 night, you know.
Yeah, and you don't really have many excuses either. They have those. They have those little calendars everywhere. You know, you can get them directly from the chamber, I believe.
From the chamber, sure.
You go into a restaurant like Black Bear, they have them at every single table. I mean, you know, there's
check them out. There's the information's out there, and you can get your event on there as well. So you know, call her, call down there. You know, inquire about this kind of stuff. You know, this is a great way to centralize the information that is in so many departments. You know, like the things you're doing here. How many people get to know about that? Right. And so like, you know, you can only push the information out there so much when you also have a job to do. You know, you gotta cover the sports. You gotta know what's going on with all these teams and all these players and stuff. So
I will definitely say it is a headache trying to track down people that are willing to put their name on any of my stuff. So
yeah.
I mean, to be fair though, I mean, I haven't really been reaching out as much as. You know, some people just come in. They just like, hey, how much for a sponsorship? I do need to figure out a strategy though to like go and like actually try to
knock on some doors.
Yes, I just don't know. I'm afraid of like. There's always something in the back of my mind like you're just wasting these people's time.
Wow.
Like that's what I'm always thinking. Like am I just disrupting their workflow for nothing?
Not at all, man. You know what you're doing over there? Like, I've watched the broadcast. It is great to watch it. And you provide so much insight too, and like, you know what's going on. And so as someone that I don't actually watch a ton of sports, I can watch that and I'm like, oh man, like I'm getting into it. Hearing you getting hyped about it, I'm just like, okay, I'm hyped now. Like,
I definitely
I'm in it. Like this guy, even if I don't even know what's going on in water polo, I'm like, what?
Shoot. I mean, like I've had coaches tell me that their kids, or like I've had coaches and parents tell me that their kids will go back and watch the live stream and see it, like use it as game film almost.
Right? Why not?
So I get a good feeling inside when I hear that. For sure.
So then, I mean, you're doing good work, man, and the town really needs you, and we do appreciate you. And it's about getting the word out, and that's not always easy to do when you're trying to do the job, right? And that's just kind of it. It's like
you only get like 3 days off a week.
That would be nice.
Yeah, I mean, I know, right? I mean, I should probably count my lucky stars that I even get, days off to begin with.
Right, but those days off are something. You're usually doing something for the sports network, or you're doing something for a conversation with somebody or promotional thing, editing film. I mean, how much hours do you spend editing this stuff?
Well, it just depends on if there's anything to dig highlights out of. I mean,
sure.
Sometimes, I mean, I just leave the broadcasts themselves are pretty unedited. I mean,
do you use any special programs to be able to get like the scores and stuff down there and all that? Like OBS or?
Yes, I use Open Broadcaster software to do the encoding, like the live stream stuff.
Interesting.
I made all my graphics myself. Like my scoreboards and everything, I made all that myself.
And those are really cool.
I made the templates for those in Photoshop. Well, not Photoshop. It's a similar program called GIMP.
Oh yeah, I know GIMP.
That's my favorite photo editing software, and I also use that for all my thumbnails and stuff.
Cool.
All the graphical stuff, everything actually for TBSN I did myself. So this is like everything is just completely built from the ground up by me.
That's awesome.
So
man.
From the graphics to the thumbnails to everything,
it looks so good and so professional, like you said.
Thank you.
It's like game footage, man. It's cool. Like
see
that.
I mean, if my camera was better, it probably looked a lot better.
You say that, but I thought it was pretty clear. I mean, like I'm watching on my phone and checking it out. But
then again, you know what they say. You're your biggest critic. I mean,
you're always.
My grandma tells me that all the time.
I don't think I put out a good episode yet. So
no, I disagree. I think all the episodes of this show have been fantastic so far. And you're definitely getting better with it as the episodes go on. So,
got to give yourself permission to fail.
Absolutely,
and then you just learning from that and go forward. Right? So.
That's just a skill I don't have. I'm always way too hard on myself.
Oh, I get it.
So
there's so many projects where like I have a grand idea and like this is gonna do it. This is gonna be the next big thing.
I know.
And then I'm like, a million ways over, I'm like, it's not going to be good enough. It's not going to be like I always want it to be this like super polished product and be exactly what my image is. And if it's anything short of that, it's complete garbage.
Yeah,
I'm going to just drop the whole thing because it's not unless it lives up to perfection.
Yeah,
I can't. It can't go.
I kind of relate to that. Maybe not so much the perfectionist aspect on everything.
Sure,
but I start so many projects. And like so many creative projects, and then I finish like one of them, like one or two of them. I'm like, I'll start like 8, and then like 2 of them will get finished. And I'm a creative person. I like to do a lot of creative stuff. Like I build. I like to build stuff in like 3D.
Okay.
And like I'm working on like a whole bunch of like little high school stadium projects. Nothing, cool. not any real ones. Although I would like to try to recreate Leroy Hayes Field at some point.
Wow.
I've definitely, and I also like to like draft little concepts for like if the field ever got switched to turf. Cool. I'd love to see like a little claw mark silhouette at midfield, followed by like the little bobcat. I call it the Rathbun bobcat because of the guy that made it. But I'd like to see that. I'd like to see. I don't know. I'd love to. I mean, I'm trying to launch another Facebook page for stuff like that. So, But yeah, I like to do graphic design. I like to do 3D design.
Cool.
And most of it is just building sports related stuff. I got an entire I'm ashamed to admit this, but like I've in my head, I've put it out onto like the photo editing software. I've created an entire state that's pretty similar to like it's like if Wyoming and Nebraska had a baby.
All right. Wybraska.
Wybraska. No, it's actually it's a native. The state is like a native name. It's like Neshoba, something like that.
That's way more clever than I just came up with.
Yeah. I don't know. I was trying to look for some native names behind like some place names, and I found like this random little hill in Oklahoma. And like Neshoba was the name of this little unincorporated community. I'm like, and I did some research on it. So yeah, I even made like a little native tribe for it, and like that's kind of based off the Arapaho in some ways.
Oh, that's fun! Like almost like fan fiction.
Almost.
Like in that
I guess you could probably like a world building thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I play Dungeons and Dragons. A way to call myself out. I got world building and stuff.
I got friends that are into that. I never could really get into Dungeons and Dragons, although my grandpa was always against the idea of D&D, so I could never really get into it. So
it gets a bad rap a lot.
It does. He used to be a priest, so I mean, he's been gone for a couple of years now, but he used to be a priest back in the day, and he just never liked the idea of Dungeons and Dragons. And to be fair, I'm not really into like the RPG fantasy stuff. I know that's a little heartbreaking for you. I know you've said some stuff about how you like D&D and stuff like that on the podcast before, but
it's fine, man. I know it's not everybody's niche, and it gets a lot of bad rap. Like I said,
I think it's fine.
I think it's because the way it started. So like, and when it first came out, everyone was like, "What is all this?" They just like put on these cloaks and hide in the basement and play this game, like kind of thing. Like people like had these like bad connotations. But like, Dungeons and Dragons is just interactive storytelling or like conglomerative storytelling.
Yeah, and like you create your do you like create your characters and create your world? And stuff?
So like it gives you guidelines on how to like put together like a concept of a character, but. And then like you have what's called a dungeon master or a game master, and so that person is like the overarching narrator, right? So then they go in and they give you what's going on in the world. So it doesn't have to be where you're like this, some super fantasy character, right? Insert some sort of movie reference or movie thing, right? So like, so you don't have to be this. You can just be you, right? So you can just be Hayden and Aaron. And our game master is like, okay, you're in a scenario in which you're doing a podcast.
Yeah.
And this is what happens. Suddenly, the building starts shaking because an earthquake happens. Like, what do you do? And you're like, well, I'm going to go under a table. I'm going to go, I'm going to leave the building, So then you just talk about what you're going to do as your actions. And then the game master, the person facilitating it, is going to let you know like what's the consequences of these actions, or what's what happens because of these actions, and then you go through a story that they have usually some sort of loose template of like in their mind or maybe written down of like how they want it to go. So maybe the earthquake was in their mind. They had the earthquake to get you out of the building because outside is something that you're going to find, and that's going to lead you on this adventure. So like that's kind of what happens, right? So like it gets a bad rap when it was like all thought to be like Dungeons and Dragons and
I can definitely see
cultists and like a lot of like religion tried to get tied in. Like people wanted to throw religion into it. It can be completely non-existent in the game. It doesn't have to have any type of magic. It doesn't have any type. It doesn't have to have any type of religion. It doesn't have to have anything. It could be literally just you, and you're telling a story like a campfire.
I never understood. I never understood the hate. I never understood it at all.
I grew up and I had some religious upbringings and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so I wasn't allowed to bring like Harry Potter into the house and things like that. Even Dungeons and Dragons was banned from my home and stuff. And that's because they had their own views on that, and I respected that as a child. Like, okay, I get it. I don't really agree with it, but I get it, right? Like, it is your home, not mine.
I mean, my family was never that strict. It was just, my grandma. We just never did like the Easter Bunny was banned from the house for sure, but we didn't really have that many restrictions on anything. Even though my family is like super religious, we just didn't have very many of those restrictions. Like D&D and the Easter Bunny were just the limits, I guess.
Yeah, it just felt like those didn't
yeah.
belong there, and I think every family kind of has stuff like that, right? They
Yeah.
they have their own traditions, their own thoughts, and that kind of thing. It's not everybody subscribes to the cowboy culture and all that,
Yeah.
like, and that mindset, right? It's interesting how even I come from Washington State, coming here to Wyoming, and even at like I was like 20 years old, I think, when I came. I would think about it more, but the what I'm saying is, like, coming here, it's like it's a different culture, but everybody also still has like their own thoughts. It's not like you come here and then it's like everybody's talking in a like a cowboy, and everybody's a rancher and wearing cowboy hats. Like, that's Wyoming gets, but those small, and maybe doesn't exist on the internet.
As sounds,
we're all like, they have our own individualities and are different people and that kind of stuff. It's a melting pot for sure.
Oh yeah,
like even your family came here as like a tourist, and then
they came from Ohio for sure,
right, in the Skibbity region, right?
The what?
I got it with that.
No. I am in that smack dab middle of that generation, and I hate. I'm embarrassed to be associated with that.
Skibbity, Ohio itself. No.
God, I'm in my early 20s, and it's like, oh my good Lord.
So, like, what's interesting, I don't know if you like even have a thought on that kind of stuff, but like meme culture, so internet culture and meme culture, things like that, still find their way, even if we just got the internet. Like I like to say, we just got the internet like a month ago. But like even if we are kind of behind a lot of the cultural trends, like we still have influence in that kind of stuff. Do you like you see a lot of these kids are playing all these games, you hear the banter, like do you see like a lot of that internet culture being involved in our young kids?
I do. I'm in college right now to be a teacher, and for one of my classes I had to observe a preschool, like a K through 1 classroom. I had to observe a 4 through 6 classroom. I had to observe a 7 through 8, and then I had to observe a high school. When I was doing my middle school observation, I had a lot of kids say skibbity, Riz, Ohio, yacht, whatever,
all the stuff,
all the buzzwords, and I'm like, I made a mistake. I want to get out of here. But as fun as it was, just even they only said those words for like 2 minutes, but like it's still like the worst 2 minutes of my life. I can't stand the
slang. Like,
I know,
basically slang.
I know. And at the end of the day, it's not like the world's gonna end, right? They're gonna be fine, but. It's like nails on a chalkboard for me.
I think for a lot of us that are a little older,
maybe I'm just getting into the part of my life where I'm like, get off my lawn.
Yeah, those kids and their weird words. Yeah, we used to say cool and elite and like, I mean, what is some of the slang maybe you used when you were younger? Do you think of any? Like,
when I was in high school, my classmates used to say like yeet.
Yeet. See, you're part of the yeet generation.
Yeah, yeet.
I got you dated.
I'm trying to remember. Honestly, I don't. Well, after I got out of my freshman year, like the slang kind of just died off. But, like they just said like yeet and like.
Yeah, that's fire. That's
that's fire.
Right? Maybe
cap. Stuff like
that. So
I still use that. I use it. I use it. I admit it. But
that's part of the wave of like culture slang that came in your era.
I also do use the skull emoji quite a bit after a lot of texts, so I will admit that.
My generation was like, that's bomb, like that kind of stuff.
Even if I use like 90s slang, my grandma has no clue what I'm talking about. I consume too much early 2000s media, so I listen to a lot of punk rock and stuff. So
cool.
But I play, and I prefer to play like games from like 2002 to like 2006.
Yeah.
So like, it's like I get that. I kind of get immersed into that kind of.
What's your favorite game?
My favorite? Oh Lord.
One of. Okay, let's not pigeonhole it down to the single best game of your life.
I play a lot of sports games.
Oh, cool.
So like the old
Maddens. All right.
Like my favorite of that is like Madden 06 on the original like Xbox, PS2, stuff like that.
Cool.
I also play some of the old NASCAR games. I've been a NASCAR fan since I was like 7.
Oh, that's fun.
And I do have a funny story about that if we have time.
Oh, we have time. I don't have anywhere to be.
So NASCAR was like the first sport that I watched on television. And I don't know if you know the Pixar movie Cars.
Of course.
But when I was 7, it was a race back in like 2009. I turned on a race. It was just, we had like 4 channels. It was on one of the Fox stations.
Okay.
And I thought I was watching like a real life version of Cars. But
you're like, what? Is the live action version?
Yeah. And I watched a couple of races on, local cable. We didn't have cable until like 2012. But the first year I really started getting into NASCAR was 2012.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting because I just remember I just remember so much from that year, and I still go back and I still watch the old races on YouTube.
Oh, that's cool.
And just I still watch it to this day. I actually, aside from like the big motors, I actually just went to Casper a couple of days ago. I'm down to the racetrack there.
Oh wow!
So I'm trying to hit as many as I can.
Did you see the figure 8 racing here? With
Unfortunately, I slept through that. I wanted to go to the figure 8 races. I pulled an all-nighter the night before, and I just fell asleep.
Right on.
I do feel horrible
the man's
about missing
working
that.
himself to death over here for you guys.
Yeah, I missed the figure 8 race, and that's really bad because I wanted to go see it. Mm-hmm. I'm like, this is probably the closest we're probably gonna get to a racetrack in Thermopolis. As much as I would love for that to be,
Yeah.
I think we could probably. I think there'd be a market for it. A lot of people come out to the Derby. How many were there a lot of people up at the?
There was a lot. Yeah, the stands were
yeah, because I don't think you were able to catch that. Were you? You were working that day.
I had to work, but I had my co-host.
But
Taylor
I did see.
down there.
I saw the newspaper over there on that little coffee table over there, and those stands looked. They had a picture of the car. The stands were there. There looked like there were a lot of people there. So I do feel like we could probably get a racetrack out here.
It would be
cool.
cool.
My voice just cracked. I'm 13 years old, huh?
Yeah, you're just hitting the third puberty.
Yeah, but I think there could be a pretty good fan base for that. I feel like people would be inclined to go out and support a local facility like that. But not only that, it wouldn't just draw in people from Thermop. It would probably draw in people from across the Bighorn Basin because closest racetracks we have are in Sheridan, in Casper, and in Rock Springs.
Gotcha.
We have there's also a racetrack in Gillette, and I think there's one in Newcastle, I think.
Yeah.
There used to be one in Cheyenne. It was an asphalt track, but that got closed down a couple of years ago. But there's in surrounding areas too. There's one in Billings and one in Rapid City. But like the closest one we have is Casper. And I do think that, when I was in Casper and when I was in Cheyenne, people turned out to those races. Mm-hmm. So there is definitely a racing fan base in Wyoming.
Sure. I knew some people that are NASCAR fans in Wyoming. And, well, we don't have a track for NASCAR.
No. I don't think we'd be able to support a big racetrack.
Yeah.
But just a little half mile, asphalt track would be great.
That would be cool.
But
and they have something like that in Casper.
No, it's dirt. Well, it's a half mile dirt track. There are no, after the one in Cheyenne closed down, there are no more asphalt tracks in Wyoming.
Interesting.
There's a drag strip though. I think there's one in Douglas, and then I think there's one north of Evanston, up near the Wyoming Downs.
Okay.
I might be wrong on that. I think I might be thinking of something else, but yeah.
So we have drag strips.
We have drag strips, yes.
I thought it'd be really cool at the old airport to take the runway and then.
You know what? That would be perfect.
It would have been sweet.
Oh, sorry, my voice just kind of locked up there for a sec.
They're tearing all that up now.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah,
the Chase Rice concert, they're going to be turning that into what? Like they're going to be
parking?
Yeah, parking.
So yeah, there's going to be parking there, but all the old runway is actually going to be removed.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Gosh, man, I had the conversation even about it, but
I'm sad to see it.
I'm not sure if it's before or after, but they're going to remove all that, and I think they're repurposing that concrete. from what I understand. So, this is based on kind of a hearsay. So, if I'm wrong about that, I am sorry. But from what I understand, they're repurposing the old runway, probably for, was it East River Road out there, like to help pave that. So that's what I remember hearing. Sometimes I'm wrong,
East River. I'm trying to, because it does. East River Road does eventually turn to dirt.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. Like once you get past those, because I go out on East River Road a lot.
That's what you said.
So yeah, but those houses up there, you get past those little houses, and then there's like a little cattle guard, and then it does turn to gravel. I think it'd be pretty cool to see that out there paved, because I mean,
a little better.
Half of it's paved, the other half is gravel.
Yeah, it just turns into gravel all of a sudden.
So it's surprisingly pretty smooth out there, though.
It is. It's
right
nice.
now it is anyway. When I was last out there.
That's all conjecture, right?
Yeah.
So, the future endeavors you got going on, I'd love to see you as a coach for our young kids. I'd love to see that. You said you're going to school to be a teacher. Is there a specific area you want to be able to teach in?
Yeah, I want to teach history.
Oh, I was going to say it's going to be history.
Yeah, I'm a history buff. There's just no way around it.
Man, I am getting phone calls. I'm so sorry. This is...
Everything all right?
Yeah. That one was the wife, so I might need to look into that one.
Okay, that's okay. We can cut it out.
Well, no, we don't need to cut it out. This is the podcast, man. This is what we're doing.
I mean, if you need to get the call from her, then that's
right.
Might be something important. Yeah, but
you can't, clearly you're not married, because it's always something important.
Oh, no. Yeah. Well, yeah. No,
at least for someone.
I'm not married. No, I'm too ugly.
Oh, baloney! If I could get married, brother, there's a chance. You have more than enough chance. Like
no. Yeah, no. The future endeavors for me, though. Yeah, I do want to be a coach. I do, and I know exactly what sports I want to coach. I think if I were to be a head coach, it'd probably be either in football or basketball.
Sweet.
And basketball, to get even more specific, girls basketball.
Okay.
I don't know why. I gravitate toward women's sports quite a bit.
Sure.
So
I think it's under cultured, underdone a lot of times, right?
I just feel like there's really not much pressure that the girls have out there. So, compared to the guys, right? I mean, both genders are still playing for scholarships and stuff. But,
yeah. And they're both playing their hearts out. Like,
the girls especially, they can play.
They probably play harder.
Yeah. I mean, our girls, the Lady Cats, You want to know how they got third place this year?
Let me hear it.
Hannah Hill, like with a couple of seconds to go, sunk a corner three to win the game at like a buzzer beater three.
Like in the air, buzzers going off. Like
I think she was covered too. She chucks it up, sinks the three, game over. Bobcats win third place.
Wow.
And it was against a team that I think had lost to twice already, Rocky Mountain.
What a legend.
And the thing is, she was a senior this year. So imagine that, your very last basketball game that you'll ever play as a Bobcat, and you sink a buzzer beater three to win the game.
Man. That's a story that they'll tell their kids and their grandkids.
I just don't. I was watching on NFHS Network. I wasn't in Casper for that. I was screaming at my television after. I mean, I was also screaming at the TV when the boys won the state title too. But
right.
That's just crazy. I mean, again, like imagine that's your last memory as a high school basketball player is doing something as crazy as that.
Man, I wish I had a memory like that in school.
I wish I did too. I mean,
like mine wasn't as great. No.
I don't have many memories from my senior year, honestly, but yeah. But anyway, back to the women's sports thing. So
you want to be a coach for women's basketball.
Yes.
You want to be football.
Yeah.
The coach. So, in this for the high school level?
Yeah, high school. If I did do college, it'd probably be like junior college, like
sure,
like Casper or Western Wyoming.
Okay.
I mean, that'd be
what about middle school? You just
Oh yeah, absolutely middle school. I mean, I already do youth, so why not? I mean, I do have plans to coach middle school football in a couple of years.
So is it something that you would coach middle school and then maybe move your way up into high school, or
That's the plan.
Is that how it works? Or
I think that's probably the recommended path. I mean, if you get your your certification, you could probably go anywhere, but that's just how my ladder is. A lot of people do
so that's
start.
how it works.
Yeah,
It can work.
It can work, yes.
Cool.
I think some people do go through the middle, like they go through like they start at like the youth levels and then they'll move their way up from there. I mean, I know that's how a lot of like NFL coaches will do. Like they'll start in high school and then they'll go up to college. Then they'll probably be like an assistant coach in the NFL and then they'll get to the head coaching spot. That's kind of how that ladder works. I don't have any plans to coach NFL football, but if I were to,
what's your
that's
team?
probably my
What's
team.
the team? If you're going to be NFL.
Jacksonville Jaguars.
All right, Jacksonville. Check them out. All right, get your scouts on him. He's going to be coaching.
Honestly,
next couple years.
they need something. I'll tell you, they have not been good. They have not been good.
That might not be the coach doing it. Yeah. So do you find that if you have a really good middle school team and you're like, these kids, they got it, do you think you would follow them through high school and play something like that? We have teachers that do like legacy.
I do feel
things.
like, yeah. Yeah, because I mean, if I go the way that I'm going now, I'll probably end up following some of the kids that I coached in rec, and then if I do coach next year, then I'll catch some of those kids as an 8th grader.
Wouldn't that be cool?
That would be very cool.
And then you're like these guys, I've been working with you for 3-4 years now.
Yeah,
like, we're seniors. This is our time.
Yeah, the kids, those kids. I mean, the kids that I've worked with, they absolutely adore me, and I know that. But like,
you're a good man.
Yeah, I mean, it's so sad to see them. I mean, it's bittersweet to see them progress through like that,
right?
Because you're like, dang, these kids are going to be going up into middle school, then they're going to go up into high school. Before you know it, they'll be graduated, and then who knows what's going to go on from there. So
you're like, you never even ran to first base. I watched you run to first base the first time, and then now you're like. You're getting all of them.
And now you're getting a scholarship to Vanderbilt to play baseball.
And now you're getting a scholarship, man.
Oh, man, imagine. Cool. I mean, there's no high school baseball in Wyoming, but...
Is there a detachment in, like, the scholarship programs and how coaches kind of have influence to that? Like, do coaches maybe bump to that? Or is it something that the players actually have to go seek themselves?
I think the player... I have no idea because I'm not involved in that, but... I think the coaches probably do have some kind of push.
Yeah.
Like they'll probably get the players
recommendations or something.
Yeah. Like they could probably, help the student athlete get their, recruiting profile set up, I would assume, but
interesting.
I don't really know enough about that to really make a comment on that.
Not yet.
Not yet anyway.
Not yet.
Who knows? Maybe I'll be contacting Alabama one of these days.
Oh, that'd be so cool, right?
Like, hey, this kid could probably be your starting receiver or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, I don't.
Maybe in the future we can even get a collab going, Voice of Thermopolis and the two Basins Sports Network. And we could be able to do some stuff. Maybe I'll come on and commentary, give you some live commentary with your sports too. I'm great, trust me. I give nicknames to everyone.
Oh, man. I do too.
That's terrible though. Actually, probably shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But.
I mean, I do give little nicknames sometimes to players. There was a player in Worland for the soccer team who has like a Greek derived last name.
Oh.
So, and surprisingly, I nail it. But I call her like the Greek freak just because that's a.
It's like a term of endearment, though. It's
yes,
not
it
like
is. Well, that's not what I was trying to say. It's an existing nickname for an NBA player, I think.
Oh.
Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's from Greece and he plays in the NBA for the Milwaukee Bucks. I think they call him that.
He just knew exactly his name, where he plays, and everything.
I'm decent with Greek derived names for some reason.
And you're like, I think that's what they call him. What do you mean? You knew his full name, but you didn't know.
I'm learning multiple different languages at once, so I do kind of have some. I do have some knowledge of some really out of left field last names.
How do you handle that? So you get handed the roster.
Yes.
And the roster's like number 7 and it's like Skibbity Bob Joe Bob and you're just like, it's something really hard, right? You're just like, Oh, do you just? How do you handle that?
Well, sometimes I'll just straight up ask one of the player, like one of the, people familiar with the team.
Oh, okay.
We had a whole bunch of, Rollins came for soccer a couple of weeks ago for Worland, and they have a lot of, they have a lot of,
like
Hispanic derived names.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Yeah.
Player number 7.
They have a lot of like Hispanic derived names, and a lot of them I could handle. I mean, I speak a little bit of Spanish, so I can handle a lot of them. But there were a couple of names where I had to ask a couple of the managers for Rollins, like, "Hey, how do you pronounce so and so's name?" And after listening to it, I'm like, "Got it. I will remember that."
Have you ever ran into a name you just couldn't figure out properly or feel comfortable being able to say?
There have been a couple. There was one guy from Mountain View that had a Finnish-derived name that I just couldn't,
feel confident saying.
Well, yeah. Well, he had a Finnish-derived last name and like a Mormon first name. So it was a really weird first name. And I just could not figure it out.
Yeah.
Until I asked a parent from Lyman, and they were like, "Okay, it's pronounced like this," and I was like, "Duh." Sometimes I just overcomplicate it.
Oh, okay.
And it's like the simplest thing. Like it's said exactly how it's spelled out, and I'm like, this has got to be like some kind of different name.
Have you ever resorted to just using a nickname? Like
no.
Maybe they're like, you ask a parent and they're like, "Oh no, they just call him, him the Tank or something."
I've actually never.
Oh
no.
So you've always been able to kind of figure out the name to be able to feel like you can give it in the broadcast. Cool.
And if a
that
parent,
just shows that your dedication to the sport and to making sure you're doing things right. So.
And if a parent is tuning in, or if they are overhearing me from the stands and they hear me say it wrong, then they will correct me when I have some downtime. So
cool.
I've had some parents that have come into the live stream chat and correct me.
Actually,
like
it's Juan, not John. You're like,
yeah,
okay, it makes sense.
Yeah, it's like that's a lifesaver when parents do that. Like I'm like, okay, thank you. I'm not trying to disrespect you or your kid.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier, I think it's just a respect thing to get those names down.
It's true.
Because I feel like all student athletes deserve some level of respect, and it's just, I feel like getting their name right is one part of that. So that's just my opinion though. That's just my opinion. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I'd love to see you try to pronounce my middle name. My second middle name.
If you wrote it down, I could probably try off camera.
Yeah, I don't want to tell you it because then you already know how to say it. But I can show you the written. It's actually on my ID. I'll have to show it to you.
Yeah,
after
off
the pod.
camera. Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see what you come up with because it's well, I'm not going to tell you the origins.
Oh.
That way, I can't. You're going to get nothing but just text.
Just text.
And
okay.
then
we'll depending on the name, I could probably break it down to what language it's derived from, and then just go from there.
I think looking at it, you can figure out the origins of it.
Yeah.
A little bit, especially since you're familiar with exotic foreign names and things like that a little bit, especially being in sports, right? So it's not always just like an American derived name. It's a lot of times it's sort of.
That's just Wyoming in a nutshell. It's just a melting pot. Like people coming from all over, coming all over the place and making lives here back in the day, and then all that. Then they have children who have children who have children, and eventually that name just kind of, you can
evolves. And comes from some other origin. Yeah, it's hard to find native Wyoming people, right?
Yeah.
In a state with 500,000 odd people.
Yeah.
And how many of those end up coming due to family, friends, some other reason rather than being native. In order to be native, you got to be native.
Yeah, exactly.
Otherwise,
I am of the belief that I don't I feel like that the only I don't really know how to word it. Not because I think it's offensive or anything. I just I struggle to find words anyway. But
sometimes,
but I feel like I don't know, the only way to find a true native part of that or native person is if they were there when the state was established, right, or in the case of Native Americans before the country was even established, right?
Yep.
It's just okay, you're not like your grandpa came here like, I don't know, 35 years after the state was formally established. Don't really know if maybe your family has been in the state for generations, but like yeah, somebody is some kind of like, somebody has some origin somewhere else. Like my family is from Ohio and Kentucky, and then before that they came from like Germany and Ireland and the Czech Republic. Like everyone's family tree.
I guess you're right.
If you really look deep into it, we all have kind of a scrambled family tree.
Yeah. So we'll have to find out when we go to the museum.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
So we go to our local museum here, and we're gonna be able to find out some of the early adopters of Wyoming.
I would love, I would love to.
I wonder if there's like a period of time, like once a state's been established, in which you can consider them like more of like the founders or like originals, right?
I feel like if they resided in the territory.
Right, at least the territory, so they get grandfathered in. But what if you were here 5 years after it was established?
That's a very good question.
Or maybe 10 years after.
Yeah, that's a very, very good question.
Here we are, and I don't know how old Wyoming is, but
I think it was formally like established in like 1890, like 1892, something like that.
We're gonna fact check that at the museum.
Yeah, we definitely are. But I know before that you had the Louisiana Territory as well.
Right.
So and that was a lot older, obviously.
Mm-hmm. So like, at what point, like as we get further and further out, maybe that early adopters marker gets moved, right? Well, if you were here in the first, out of like, let's just say it was like 500 years that we've been a state, right?
Yeah.
So maybe like in the first 100, if you were part of the first 2 years, 3 years, right?
Yeah.
And then like as it gets into the 200 mark and the 400 mark and the 500, that
no, there's definitely tiers to it.
If you were here in the first 100 years out of the 500 years that we've been established, maybe
I do think you could probably split up into generations too, like say that a certain period of time, like a certain period of time you'd be like the first generation, and then a couple hundred years you'd be second generation, and then like a third generation, like it's like like how they split
years or something, maybe
like how they split the dinosaurs up into different periods. I feel like that could definitely be like I was at the Washakie Museum. You have your Cretaceous period, whatever. I used to memorize those period names when I was a kid.
Yeah, so that could have been like a fourth generation Wyomingite, right?
Yeah,
that kind of thing, right? I'm definitely not.
I mean, I'm sure there's definitely a definition for first, second, third, fourth, fifth generation, whatever. But
yeah,
I don't know.
Same. All these questions I'm going to ask in my local museum.
Absolutely. Or go to the Hot Springs County Library, see if you can't get a book on it, right?
Yeah. I don't have a lot of time to be just diving into the library, even though they do amazing work over there. Shout out to our county library.
I just don't have the time to go to the library. I would love to, though. I mean, I do. I mean, even then, like when I'm ordering coffee from like Storyteller or something, I like to browse through the little. At least for it only takes them like a minute or so to make the coffee, so I don't have much time. But I just read a little snippet of the book.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have to just check it out at some point. I don't know.
All right, man.
Just go old style and go and check out the book from the library or whatever.
Yeah, old style. Back in the days when they had a library card and
oh man,
and not Amazon Prime or Kindle or whatever that is. Yeah,
you don't have library cards anymore. You got Google Sheets.
There's Audible. Yeah, Google Sheets.
Yeah, Google Sheets. They could probably. I don't know. I don't work at the library, so I wouldn't know. But
yeah, but man, there's some of the books there that they have are crazy old. They have to dust them off in order to get them for you, that kind of stuff. It's cool.
I don't know. The oldest book that I got in my possession is this World Atlas from 1960. It was either 1962 or 1964, but it is super. That's how I learned that. It's actually how I learned how Russia used to be called the Soviet Union. That's how. I know. I feel that that's a little stupid.
Soviet Union. You're oh, that's Russia. And you're
yeah.
Oh.
I felt so stupid after I learned that. It wasn't until I was in middle school that I learned that the two were the same country.
Yeah.
But like, my geography knowledge has grown a lot since then. I mean, I practically live on Google Earth. I mean,
That's cool. While you're doing your 3D modeling and stuff, right? You're like, this would be the spot.
Yeah.
This would be the thing.
yeah, it's just
That's cool, man.
I don't know. I just like geography. I've always loved it. I mean, I actually remember a funny story from middle school when I was in my history class.
Mm-hmm.
My history teacher thought the capital of Canada was Toronto, and it is actually Ottawa. And I spent 5 minutes arguing with him about it until he finally went on to Google, and he was like, "Oh, yeah, the capital of Canada is Ottawa. You're correct."
You're like, points to your team.
I don't know how it came up.
Mm-hmm.
I think we were doing like a group activity or something. No, because he heard through the grapevine that I was good at geography, and he asked me what the capital of Canada was.
He asked you the question.
Yeah, he
just
did.
because he wants to get at you, and then you have to show him up. Oh man,
I do feel bad, but
you shouldn't. He was the one who came to you. He wanted to challenge you.
I just, that was, I don't know. There was a lot of funny stories that we would be spending 5 hours just talking about. But
do you feel bad hitting a home run when the pitcher pitched you that ball?
No,
you don't.
If a pitcher throws me a 65-mile-an-hour meatball down the middle, I'm gonna smack that thing dead center.
Exactly. So if a teacher comes up to you and he's gonna throw a question at you, and you hit it out the park. I mean, it's on him. He threw the ball.
Exactly. That's the whole thing, though. You know how they tell you, in teaching, you will learn. I think he learned that day.
You think he learned that day? The student became the teacher.
Yeah.
Well, man, it's been so good to have you here and just chatting with you and getting to know you and representing the two Basins Sport Network.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you, Hayden, for coming out here and giving me time. You know, you sent me that first email and you're like, this is a long shot, but I was wondering what it would take to get on there. And I'm like, it's not even a long shot.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't even know much about you, and so now I want to know. I want to sit down. We're gonna have a conversation, man.
Oh, it's been a lot of fun. I've had a blast, and
good.
I do want to make a couple of acknowledgments.
Okay.
First off, I'd like to shout out my grandmother, who is undoubtedly watching this episode once it comes out. I would like to also acknowledge some of the coaches at the high school level that, put up with my, throughout the course of the week. Boone Balker, the head coach of the football program, and Shane Corpening, the head coach of the basketball program.
Thank you for all you do, guys.
Thank you. And also for putting on quality programs over the past couple of years. Really excited for the upcoming season. Also like to thank Audra's Copper Coup for allowing us to be here.
Copper Coup.
And
like every episode they're gonna get. They don't even she provides space and drinks and everything.
Yeah.
But it's not like they're a sponsor of the podcast.
No,
at all,
I know, but
they're the most unofficial sponsor. Like every episode. It's such appreciation. So.
And also a shout out to Brian Parker over at the Rec District as well.
Brian.
So. Yeah, awesome guy. So
I got with I talked with him a little bit. And I asked him if he'd be interested, and I also talked to Braden Harvey, and we might do some sort of really fun outdoor stuff with them. So that might be in the pipeline.
Yeah,
something to do where we just all hop in ATVs and stuff and just go baja on some of these some of the trails and some of the stuff they're outdoor junkies as you know. So look forward to seeing something like that come out once I have better more equipment. Heck, they have a drone.
Oh yeah,
Braden's got a drone, and so that would be super sweet to get some of that footage of us all doing that stuff for the podcast episodes and stuff. I want to do with that, which exploring Wyoming, exploring 307. I'm not sure how I want to name it yet, but we'll be going out to stuff like the Hell's Half Acre and things like that. I'd like to keep more stuff in county, but I mean it'd be really fun.
I thought about on my personal YouTube channel. I've thought about making video essays and stuff about an overview of towns and counties in Wyoming, and also going out to different places and doing little video essays out there.
That'd be cool.
Like you said, Hell's Half Acre. I'd love to go out the Buffalo. The dam out near Cody, the Buffalo Bill Reservoir.
Yeah,
I'd love to go out there. I'd love to go to Yellowstone. as well.
Definitely. Isn't that like that's the grand trip, right? Like
Yeah.
Yellowstone and doing like a whole stretch there. That'd be really fun.
Going out to Devil's Tower and the Wyoming Black Hills would be pretty cool too. But yeah, I'd love to like write some video essays on like all the counties in Wyoming and go through their individual towns, like their history and like stuff like that. But
so look forward to something like that. Maybe it might pop up, and if it does, we'll make sure you tell me so I can make sure I tell you, the voice of Thermopolis, all of you.
Yeah, well, you know, I think we both know the Hot Springs County episode would probably be a lot more in depth.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to bring in like historians from the museum, and I'm gonna bring in the crew for that one. I only have 4 microphones though, so maybe I have to figure that out.
But yeah, no, that's just something I would love, like just one of many projects that I have in my mind.
Sweet.
But, yeah,
so there's stuff in the pipeline.
So
maybe we'll see.
I don't just do sports stuff.
You just love sports stuff.
I love it. Yeah, it's my life. I love it.
So I think there'd be no better like way to have a coach than to have someone that has the passion that you do for the sport. And once you find someone that has the passion to be able to even just be involved in that, even you're just doing it personally. You're just running a camera and because you enjoy it that much.
Yeah.
What better formula for a coach than someone that is that involved with the sport itself, right? I know it's hard to take like a.
It is. I mean,
you see a passionate coach, think of any coach that you affiliate with, and stuff. Like the passion that they have for the game is what makes the programs and things that much better.
Yeah. When I think of a coach, I think of someone who can get in there and motivate. Like people like Vince Lombardi, for example. He used to be a really big motivator for his players, and that's the kind of coach I like to be. I like to, I might come off as a little bit harsh, I guess. That's not what my intention is, but like I try to get in and I try to motivate players.
Yeah.
Like
there's a fine line between like motivation and discipline, and then being able to be that like.
And I don't. Despite what people might think, I don't like to have to discipline people.
Of course.
Like that's just. But when I do, it's like. I'm not doing it because I hate you. I'm doing it because I'm doing it because I think you can be, the best person you can be. So that's the whole point of sports at this level, right? Try and develop people to be, good members of society.
Yeah. No matter what activity or sport or whatever you're doing, a craft, hobby, like that's discipline and just being a better person because of that craft is a merit in its self. I think it speaks a lot.
The advice I would give to somebody that wants to get into coaching, because I started coaching football when I was 17, a senior in high school.
Wow.
And I'm saying that if you want to get started coaching sports, find a local, rec program and, see if you can't get on the coaching staff. Like I know that Brian and the rec district are constantly looking for people to coach, right? So if you... I'd recommend starting there. And then once you have a couple of years at the rec district, that's your choice from then. I mean, if you want to stay there, and then, if you want to stay there, just be a mentor there until you're 75 years old and go right on ahead. But
that kind of like leads in really well to what we were talking about earlier is that like, it's okay to make mistakes, right? So maybe you like soccer, or maybe you like a sport, or you don't even have to like it as much, but you're interested in that, or you want to work with kids to just be better at something, right? You just have a passion for that. So you don't need to be this, professional NFL coach to be able to go be on the roster, to be an assistant coach, to just help out, facilitate things for the head coaches or anything like that. So like, don't think you need to be the master craftsman before you press record on the podcast. Don't think you need to be the master craftsman before you are show up and try to help out the teams and stuff like that. So I've talked about this before in other episodes, is anything we do, your time, your clicks, your views, it doesn't have to be money to be able to support your community. You can support your community in so many different ways, and a good rec department, you're serving your community in tenfolds when you're working with these younger kids that are learning this kind of stuff, because this is the experience that they're having at their age, right? And so like they're being molded and they're growing up into being the people they're going to be, and your involvement, no matter how little, is something. So
well, I mean, that's good. It's going to be memories, experiences, and lessons that they're going to have for the rest of their lives. That's the big thing about sports from Pee-wee all the way up to high school is, the whole purpose of them is to build a experience for a student, because the most important thing as well is that interscholastic sports are just an extension of the classroom. Like,
that's true.
It's just an extension of the classroom. You're still there to learn, and you are there just to learn how to be a model citizen, really.
Yeah.
Even though you're going out and you're hitting people and punching them in the mouth on Friday nights, but at the end of the day, you're still there to, be the best person you can be.
Yeah, you're growing into something better, and it might not be the future of being a great NFL star, but being on that team and learning those lessons and learning what it takes to really put in your effort to something and reap the benefits from that. That is something that they get out of that. At any age.
Yeah,
I think even as an adult, when I put a project together like this podcast, it's I'm learning a lot about myself. I'm learning a lot about how to do this craft and all that kind of stuff, and even when you're younger, it's even more so. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just shout out to all the parents out there, to all the coaches out there, to all the staff, the schools. You guys are the unsung heroes. No matter how much someone says it, you'll always be an unsung hero into our youth and to our children and to the future that we have going on.
Yeah. Oh, and the referees, big part of it too.
Yeah, even the refs.
The zebras do not get enough appreciation. They get more. They get cursed at more often than they get praised, and I don't think that's fair. I mean, to be fair, like I know it's easy being up there in the nosebleeds. You do see what's going on from up there, and you're like, why did he not call that? But you got to remember, a referee, he's looking in all directions.
Yeah,
I mean, I coached with someone who does. I did coach with someone who does referee high school games on Fridays, and the one thing you have to remember, like you have to keep track of 22 players on the field if on football, and sometimes 10 on the court as well. So keep that in mind. Like they have to keep track of so many people, and even then, like even though they have like 2 or 3 other people also watching the game with them, you're still going to make a mistake. I mean, you're down there on ground level. It's not like you have someone up in the sky or up in the press box, right?
Yeah.
But
they don't always have that footage to be able to just recall instantaneously to make that call.
And it's not like it's not like the NFL or college either, where they have instant replay.
A dozen cameras of every angle, and instant replay.
You're lucky to have the local radio station have just one camera on you. I mean, that's just
right.
I mean, that's
or
just
you
the reality.
when you're there, you're scoping it out, you're making sure those kids are staying in the line.
Yeah. Don't do anything stupid. You're on camera.
The coach over. Hey, that call you made in the first quarter, man. Can we just clean that up?
Yeah.
What do you think a foul is now?
No, I do. I mean, I will admit I have. I'm not overly harsh with the refs on air. No, never. But I have said something like, I do try to kind of mask it a little bit, but I'm like, shoot, what do I say? Like most of the time I do agree with the referee's call, but sometimes I'm like, ooh, fans aren't happy about that call.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's just an observation of the fans though. Mm-hmm. Like if if I can hear you through the headset, chances are you're probably going to end up on camera anyway, but it's just like
booze.
But but it's like, just back to what I was saying, the referees don't deserve the referees don't get the praise that they deserve. Literally without a referee, you can't play the game. Like, that's just simple.
Oh, you could.
I mean, you could, but it's not going to be organized.
Right. We've all done it maybe with our friends and stuff.
Well, yeah, but there's a difference between playing football on the playground and playing the state championship at War Memorial Stadium in Laramie.
Exactly. Exactly.
But no, just a big shout out to everyone who my voice broke again. Shout out to all the officials that do take the time out of their week to officiate, and just know that you are appreciated.
For sure.
The NFHS actually even has a officials appreciation week, I think, or it's either a month or a week. I can't remember which, but they do. The NFHS does do so, which is the National Federation of High Schools. Like they have like an appreciation week for officials, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I've definitely I've definitely made friends with a couple of refs in Thermop, but they're just really cool people. It's awesome being around. I've been shaking hands with coaches before games lately, so
right on.
It's definitely fun to definitely see the human aspect of some of these coaches and these referees and these players, and I don't know. It's indescribable.
You ever go up to that like notorious umpire or notorious ref and just be like, "Hey, nice to meet you. I'm recording the game. I'm broadcasting it live," and maybe that puts that little bit of like a, "Hey, you're on camera, dude. I'm watching your calls."
Yeah, I
just know I see everything.
Yeah, I mean, I don't say that, but I do go up and I shake their hands, and I'm like, "Hi, hopefully it's going to be a good game today. Good luck to you if it's a coach, and have a good time out there if it's a ref." So, but when Buffalo came to Worland for a middle school game, I shook the Buffalo coach's hand, and he turned back to his players. He was like, "Hey, you're going to be recorded today," and then proceeded to send like a text out to the parents with the link to the live stream. So I got a whole lot of people watching it from Buffalo that day.
Right on.
But coaches are the coaches are awesome to be around. Like they love their program. It's just, I mean, that should go without saying. But
now, without saying names, have you ever had a coach that like you're just like they're like not so savory? Maybe the lesser enthused coach that you wouldn't suggest per se.
I can't say that I've ever met someone like that.
Cool.
So
every coach you met has just been pretty good, huh?
Pretty much, yeah.
Right
I mean, I've been scared of a lot of coaches.
Nothing abrasive, nothing like
no. They are all they're all pretty good. I've not met.
I don't want any names or schools or regions or states.
I've met fans that I haven't really liked, but I've never met coaches that I've never.
Yeah. That just rubbed you the wrong way.
Yeah.
I was hoping maybe I get a dirty story out of it.
No.
Like, this one guy.
I got yelled at by
the clipboard over the kid's head.
Oh God, no. Well, that would actually get you fired.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and assault charges. Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, but no, I've been yelled at by a coach, but that was when I was in high school, as a fan. So
as a fan,
yeah,
all right,
yeah, but it was during a tournament. Not gonna name the school, but
sure,
just doing a routine student section chant, and he's just like, "Hey, cheer for your team and don't root against another."
Yeah, sportsmanship kind of thing.
Yeah, I was being sportsmanlike though. That's the thing.
Huh.
Like, it was nothing outrageous. I was just. I mean, everyone else was doing it too.
Right, yeah, and you're like, man, why I get called? Because you're the one that listened. You're the one that looked over. They made eye contact with you.
Yeah, they did. They made eye contact and they pointed toward me. I'm surprised. Honestly, nowadays, I think if a coach did that, though, I think the referee would probably shut that down. They'd probably give the coach like a little bit of a reprimand for that. Like the referee probably would, like a technical.
At the fans.
Yes, like a technical foul. I don't know if you know what that is, but. Like it's
Pretend I don't, because not everybody that watches knows.
Like if a referee gives this during a basketball game, like that's a technical foul. It means like it's like a big violation of the rules, like a sportsmanship violation, or like like a really bad violation of the rules.
Okay.
In basketball, that would award the team that didn't cause the foul. They would get like 2 free throws.
Oh, okay.
Like that'd be like 2 chances to get points on the board. So like, there's each sport has different sportsmanship procedures, I guess you could probably say. Like football, I guess the worst you could probably do is give them a 15-yard like penalty, send them back 15 yards from where they were.
Wow.
But basketball, you'd get like 2 free throws. Soccer, you'd get like a free shot on the goal.
Yeah, yeah.
So there are consequences.
All right. So mind your P's and Q's, coaches.
Because you might cost yourself a couple of points if you don't mind your manners. But
for sure. Well, thanks for coming here, man. Thanks for doing this. Like, this won't be the last time. Maybe I'll call you up and we can do something together where we interview someone. Maybe we, there's a lot of opportunities here. We're both in this space of trying to make content and help our communities. And so, what better way than just to build a network?
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be pretty exciting. I can't wait to see what this show has to offer. I know you're going to be interviewing somebody here.
Oh, yeah.
soon?
Yeah. Okay. All right. You segued me into that. So yes, to wrap things up on my end, tomorrow I'm going to be interviewing Roland at the Star Plunge. It's going to be as in depth as I could possibly get. I say tomorrow. Tomorrow's Tuesday, the 20th. Right?
Can't believe we're already at the end of May.
We're at the end of the month. Yeah, and I just paid the beginning of the month bills. Let me tell you.
Oh my god! And we're halfway through the year as well.
So the next episode after this will most likely be the interview with the Star Plunge and Roland and their involvement in everything that's going on in our town and our county. And so I'm going to be sitting down and going as long as I can. I would have liked to do it live, but I think that in order to give them the freedom to be able to talk and say things, and maybe if they overstretch in what they are allowed to say legally, we're able to edit that out and things like that. So I'm going to record it and then provide that. But I fully intend to do as little editing as possible. So outside of legal things, it's going to be up there. So, and I don't foresee that, but we're going to be talking about a lot of, fringe stuff.
Yeah.
And the questions that people are providing me, I'm reaching out to Voice of Thermop on Facebook. The questions and stuff that people want me to ask, those are important and those will be asked. So please make sure we keep
it respectful. Yeah, that's the most important thing too.
Yeah.
Like we know it's a bit of a divisive issue, and just be respectful.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't you said it a couple shows ago, but don't forgot what you said about that. Honestly, don't be disrespectful about it.
Right. Don't attack them.
They don't deserve that.
No one deserves that and stuff. No matter how you feel about the situation, it's something that is ongoing in their lives and what they're doing, and your feelings are kind of irrelevant to what their livelihood is, right?
Yeah.
So they're trying to provide a service for you, everyone. No matter what business you're in, you're trying to provide some sort of service.
Yeah.
Well, they're trying to provide a service. They want to do that, and there's roadblocks in the way, right? There's hoops to jump through, and maybe not hoops to jump through. There's reasons why things are happening. No one has intention to hurt Thermopolis and to hurt So the Voice of Thermopolis, if there's ever a time to come out and be able to bring up your questions and stuff, please, even after watching this episode, if you made it this far, I appreciate you. And you can still send me your questions. I'm going to maintain some sort of contact with Roland and be able to still provide some of those questions and we get those answered. Just shout out to Thermopolis as a community.
Absolutely.
This podcast and what we do, both of us, and our respective endeavors, it wouldn't be possible without the community, with the help of everyone here. The Copper Coup has been so respectful to be able to let us do this right here in the middle of their business hours.
Great coffee too.
And just everywhere we meet, there's a lot of great feedback. We love you guys. Please, keep asking questions. Keep, you want to see something, put a notice on there. If you wonder if he's going to cover a game or a sport or something, or he has information that you might want to know, reach out. Two Basins is around here for you too.
Yeah, my email is always open. Again, it's twobasinssportsnetwork@gmail.com. It's all lowercase and the number is spelled out. Or you can call or text me at 307-388-9203, or you can contact me through Messenger on Facebook. So, if you are asking me, hey, are you going to cover this game? Are you going to be going to this tournament? Or are you going to be doing blah, blah, blah? Those are the three ways you can get in contact with me. Or if you see me at Family Dollar or something like that, you can just walk up to me. As long as you don't come from behind and scare me, I think we'll be fine. So
if you have something constructive, please, we'd love to hear that. Put a comment on the video. You can always reach out, personally, if you don't want it to be blasted, as a comment on the internet. But please, your feedback and everything is what keeps everything going. And we really appreciate it. We love you guys. That's been another episode of Voice of Thermopolis podcast.
Yeah.
So I'm Aaron,
and I'm Hayden, and with that, please drive home safe and do not pet the buffalo.
Dusty boots on a wooden floor. Small town nights we crave for more.